hate puppies. It's good podcast.
I feel threatened.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House, the only podcast dedicated to solving first world problems, regardless of how crazy the world is. Today, we got some special guests here. I'm pretty excited to have them in the house.
Oh yeah,
or in the Pallet House to talk with us. Now, people may actually recognize Chris's voice once he starts talking, but Sam's going to be a new one. Chris, Sam, how are you?
Good. How you guys?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yes, I am excited to have you guys here officially because you are my second favorite podcast at the moment. You guys have just recently launched a new podcast called Teach Me Babe, and the reason I slow down when I say it is because I find when I say Teach Me Babe, it's kind of difficult to understand what I'm saying.
that checks out.
It's just something I've noticed. I've been telling people, I'm like, yeah, check out Teach Me Babe. And they're like,
Wait, what?
What's
Huh?
it called?
What's it? Teach Me Babe.
Yeah.
So Teach Me Babe. 3 words, 3 syllables.
Yeah.
Teach Me Babe. Yeah.
You got it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
College grad.
That's officially a college grad. So thank you guys so much for joining us, especially during this crazy time of year, because I know you're probably extremely busy.
No, not at all.
That's a flat out lie.
I am a duck on the water right now. There's a million things going on beneath the surface, but I'm here.
But you look casual.
Great.
Cool, calm, collected.
Somebody described me as a duck on the water yesterday, and I was like, take it back. And they were like, they explained what they meant. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like,
Yeah.
everything they can see, cool, calm, and collected, but underneath, I'm working my ass off, like trying to stay
Right.
afloat.
Right. Fake it till you make it.
I had I guess I had never heard the term.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Me either.
Huh.
It threw
We
me
got
for
taught,
a loop.
babe.
Well
1
done.
minute in, taught, lesson, and done. My
All right, well, thank you guys so
Dropping
much for
knowledge.
joining
Yeah,
us.
Wrap it up.
Boom. Wrap it up. We'll turn up the song. Call it a day. Don't forget to subscribe, like. Yeah, you guys just started this podcast, what, like 6 episodes ago? 7
4?
episodes today?
No,
Where
it'll
are
be it'll be 6 when
6
this comes
today.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're putting a lot of faith in the fact that this is going to be coming out in a reasonable time.
Correct. Well, you told us the success number is 7, which we plan to do number 7 next week in Charleston.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
that's exciting.
average podcast never gets beyond episode 7. That is a fact. So if you can get to 8, you're officially
Winning.
you're officially a success in the far as the podcast
Wow.
realm goes.
So is that when people start sending us money? Episode 8.
Yeah.
Is that a known thing?
Yeah,
in
then
the
you're
podcast
rich.
World?
Then you quit your day job and you just live off
Sweet.
your. Then you're Scrooge McDuck. Isn't that what we determined? You're just swimming in gold coins.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
Crystal and Bentleys.
That's right.
Here I come.
That's exactly right. See, you get it. See, at least you're in it for the right reasons. The money.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
if
you're-
listeners could see our setup, they would realize that's not true, both at our home and here.
Unfortunately, your setup is nicer than mine, and we're on year 6. You're on episode 6.
Yeah.
So I'm a little distraught about that. I helped them set up, which means the production quality is ugh.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. I'm actually shocked that with the teacher you had, your production quality is as good as it is, because I got them set up and I went over there and their microphones cost a fraction of what our microphones cost, and they were far better.
Nice.
Like, I was blown away at how good your mics were.
We've got the round things. I don't know. What
Yeah,
they're
the
called.
little filters.
Right.
Yep, spoken like a audio file. Well done.
Condensers.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was blown away when I saw the setup. You guys are officially using like the phantom powered microphones and all this stuff. I let them. I gave them, lent them. I don't know where we stand on it. If they like it, they can have it forever. If they don't like it, I'll take it back. But they have our old board. And
Which
it's
one? We've had 4 or 5
the
now.
H6, the small
the
one.
little one. Yeah.
The one that I was like
In love with.
hell bent on. Like,
Yeah.
if we don't get this, we'll never get to the next level.
Yeah.
And then I had it for like 6 months and was like, if we don't get this, we'll never get to the
Yep.
next level. And I graduated right away. So they've got a sweet setup, but they hit a button I've never hit, the phantom power.
Whoa.
to actually run their mics because I was like, bro, these mics don't work. And I was like, wait a minute. Click. Oh, you got fancy ass mics.
Oh wow.
They cost $30.
Yeah, they're nothing
PS.
fancy. It was approximately 3.5 minutes of Googling on the Amazon, and then sure, $33. I'll buy that microphone.
Well done. Good choice.
Yeah, they're good though.
I was blown away. I was very impressed. Yeah, honestly, guys, you're 6 episodes in. I've been listening. I love the sound quality. You guys have done a really good job.
Well,
you got little Jason Jones doing the
yeah,
intro
the
music.
intro
Yeah.
music's awesome.
It
It is
was
awesome.
perfect. He did a fabulous job.
Well, why don't you guys tell us about the premise? Because we haven't talked about the premise. Teach
Yeah.
me, babe.
Sure. Do you want me to start and you can add some color?
Go for it, babe.
Sure. So Chris and I, this all started with my wonderful girlfriends, who I will refer to as the Marionettes, and we were planning a Vegas trip. And
You're
I
not using
said,
names today because I
no
thought
names.
I thought you
like
just-
to drop names.
Oh, you do.
I'm
you do.
Yeah,
Terrible.
your incognito number naming system
Not
fell
working.
off quick, fast, and in a
She'll
hurry.
be like
Really
number
bad.
17, aka Ted.
yeah,
It's horrible.
it's
So
hard. It's hard to
It's
do.
really hard. I applaud you all for hiding the names. But yeah, so we were planning a trip to see Lady Gaga in Vegas, and then
It's pronounced Lady Gaga. I don't want
Lady
you to
Gaga.
embarrass yourself
Yeah.
in front of people
Okay.
who know.
Edit that out. Edit that out.
Thanks, Brendan. Please go back and make me smart. And so we were on our trip, and we had all these ideas for podcasts because we were using the Marco Polo, also brought to me by Inside the Pallet House.
That's
team.
right. We're
And-
teenagers.
And so we came up with a whole back of the napkin strategy on podcast topics. And I brought that back to my babe.
Nice.
And then we said, well, that's not going to happen because there's this thing called COVID. So what if we just did a podcast? And then Chris here came up with the idea of what our theme would be.
Okay. So it was going to be you and your girlfriends that were going to get together and
Well,
start doing a podcast.
Kind of, Troy. It was like the inspiration of, hey, we kind of have a lot of things to say, and there's some funny ladies
that
in
checks
that
out.
group. But it's difficult, right?
I
Because
get it.
everybody's got kids and
Yeah.
jobs, and you guys know you've been doing this for 6
Oh,
years.
it's a task every week.
We have 2 mics
Right, Stu,
empty
and,
right over there.
And Ely.
Where are they?
Crickets.
Where are they? That's awesome.
Yeah, they're not here at the moment. So continue. Apologize.
So go ahead and set that up, honey.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple other podcasts follow a similar format. There's the Dollop, where one guy introduces the topic, and you know it's going to be about history, but the
Yeah.
other guy doesn't know, and he just does his best to crack jokes. There's the Smartless with
I have not heard.
Jason Bateman.
Oh, I have listened to
Will
that one. Yeah,
Arnett,
yeah.
and they have a guest, and the other people aren't aware of the guest. So it's kind of along those lines. One of us thinks of a topic that we're going to discuss that night. The other person is not aware of it, and then we go
Comedy
for it.
ensues.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the idea.
Yeah, we did this for one
you
episode.
You had this idea.
for one episode.
Brendan had a version of
it
that.
worked.
And Brendan was in love with it, and we all loved it. But as you can tell from everyone else in the room over here, Brendan did his week's worth of work, and then it went to the next person, and it immediately fell off.
Oh.
That was the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, it's really nice being able to, think of a topic and points to talk about
Yeah.
and go through them and share some funny stories. And what's even better, though, is the next week when you don't have to do shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
which works out well for us because that's about how much we can handle.
Yeah.
Every other week planning for a
Well,
topic.
it really does help to have topics. Like, everybody thinks you just show up and shoot from the hip, and you can do that, and some people do that, and we kind of do that, but
Oh, we better start shooting from the hip after this topic because we got 3 on the board.
we always try to come up with topics. We'll email in topics all week long if we see an article or something.
Right.
We shoot the email and we try to have something lined up. This week though, we only had 1 or 2 because we're leaning on you guys. So.
That's fine. We're
Which
here
is
for that.
and
Yeah.
behind a little behind the door. We're doing 2 episodes tonight, so these 3 topics better stretch and be hilarious.
They will be.
Let's hope. But I do love the concept. So one of you brings a topic to the table, the other doesn't know what's going to happen. Some of these topics are interesting because it kind of can put the other person flat-footed. I've seen some of the topics that you
yeah.
guys bring up, and some of
Yes.
them delve into your past, and they can get a little personal. And I feel like sometimes, which you haven't created this vibe, but I keep thinking if I did this with my wife, it could quickly spiral into an interrogation. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, like I was listening to one last week, and in particular it was about crushes and love and like the difference between them. And I was just like, I was answering all the questions in my head, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God I don't have to answer these questions.
Yeah, y'all were very open and okay with all the answers. That like there was no, at least on mic. Maybe when the mics are turned off. Wait, what? You never mentioned that.
Yeah. Hey, and guess what? My answer was 4. I love yous. I fell right into the. So I was
nice.
because I didn't email
Good.
it in, but I know you were asking the listeners
Sure.
to say 4.
4
So
times
I
in
fall-
love.
Yeah, I think I was 3.
Well, I wouldn't say I was actually
Interesting.
in love. I'm just saying how many times I uttered the words.
Yeah.
Said I love you to an
Yeah.
individual person.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
4 is good. And
Wait a
that
second.
was what.
You've said I love you to your wife less than 4 times.
Oh my gosh.
In total.
Hopefully everyone goes back and listens to that was last week's episode, I believe.
Yeah.
And so that will be very interesting because we were trying to figure out if we were average, lower, higher, whatever it was, and we
It
said
seems like-
people our age probably 3 to 5 times.
Yeah. Because
But
Seems about that.
I was
about right.
surprised because my first love, like I never said I love you, but I was in 3rd grade. Like I was girl crazy early. Like I got my heart broken from a young age all the way up till the time I got married. So
yeah.
I was surprised to hear y'all were later in life with that. Like I had girlfriends and crushes from. I mean, as
But
far
those were
back as I can
crushes that
remember.
broke your
Crushes,
heart. Not
yes.
love.
Did
Yeah,
you
but,
say I
like-
love you?
I thought I loved them at the time.
Right, of
You know,
course.
like they didn't want to be my girlfriend anymore, and I was a heat. Like it was
Yeah.
over. You know?
Absolutely.
Oh, he's like number 3. Number 3. See how I'm not using names? See how
Yeah,
I'm
that
doing
was that was well done.
She was meeting some people over camps in the summer, and then she was on the Facebook Messenger
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
and one of them said the "I love you" to her, and I said, "You're 8, so I'm not really quite sure that he should be saying that. So be friends with him. That's wonderful, but really." That's a really strong word. So
Yeah.
let's not say that back.
Yeah, but this was over the kids' instant messenger,
Right.
and they broke up approximately 45 minutes later.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's not a big stressor. Just funny. Just funny.
Funny to y'all.
Yeah. But that was your whole world back in
Yeah,
the
that
day.
stuff
Like
hurts.
that was
Sure. We didn't have Facebook Instant Messenger. So
Thank
unless you
God.
had the pop-up notes that flipped and flopped or your best friends gave the
Yeah.
note to the friend and all of that.
pass the notes
Check
around.
yes or no.
Yeah.
All of those
Oh yeah,
things.
these kids don't know anything about that. That's for sure.
I love a note. Why
Yeah,
don't you
but
write me any
we've
notes?
talked about how deep we're going to go on certain topics because
Yeah.
Obviously
Right.
everybody has certain things that were big moments in their life. Not sure if you want to share them all or not. And also, we were getting ready for bed the other night, and I was like, "Hey, babe, are we going to talk about the sex?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you cool with that?"
And I just slowly looked over and I said, I mean, I am very comfortable talking about the sex, but I'm not quite sure that the listeners are comfortable
It's-
hearing about the sex.
It's funny you bring that up because that was one of the things that I was thinking about is watching you because you're very new to this, right?
Right.
You're still neophytes, and I love when the moment occurs where you're about to share too much and then you pull back.
Oh, yeah.
and that'll happen for quite a while where you'll get to a point and go, and then one day it's just gonna come out. You're gonna say something and be like, oh crap. And I remember it took me about 6 months before I had that first real like, I really regret that. And then you have
Oh,
that
yeah.
moment in time where you're editing and you can make that decision. Like, do I
Yeah.
put it out there or do I not? And you haven't had to face that realization yet. And I've really just said, forget it. I'm going to put it out. And we've been putting them out. And that's the moment in time when you realize nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening to this. It doesn't really matter.
But then you get comfortable thinking that, right? Don't worry, no one's listening. And then, like, just this week, your boss on a Zoom call drops an
Oh.
inside joke. And you're like, oh, shit. The only person who would know that would be a listener. And then he just kind of looked at me and was like, you know what I'm talking about. I listen to the podcast. And I was like, zoinks.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. Like, and so it's going to be fun to watch you guys progress down that road where you figure out what you can and can't say, where your line of comfort is, and then go through the realization of no one's listening to my mom listens.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. So the part of the way that the idea for us came along is we spend a lot of nights hanging out and chatting about things, and we get into some deep topics. And so the other night, this just proves the whole point. We were into not a touchy subject, but anything that has to do with like hypotheticals or how would you handle or what would you do, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, fuck, marry, kill.
Worst conversation area for married people. We were like, Chris was like, well, maybe we should talk about how I can't remember what it was specifically, but something about kids and the fact that we're blended family, etc. And I was like, I'm not sure that we're ready for that.
Yeah.
That could go really south really quickly. Nobody wants to hear us debate about things or feel emotional about
They
things
might,
at
though.
this point.
That's the funny thing. These people are the worst.
The listeners?
Yeah, the
They
listeners.
are pretty awful.
They like it when something goes wrong. Like, I get more people reaching out like, ha, that was hilarious when so-and-so got really pissed off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that was really uncomfortable for me.
It was terrible.
They're like, but it made for great pod. Chris is actually responsible for one of the very first moments I recall that was cringeworthy, and it was 1 year in when you called out Pat on the 1 year anniversary show. And you did it to his face, and I remember just staring at the mic like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to handle this. And then Ely's like, oh! And then sure enough, like that episode comes out, and the moment in time that I get feedback was the awkwardness. They loved the awkwardness of that moment in time.
It's real. So, of course, real stuff. I mean, we're trying to be real. We're also trying to be conscious of each other.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Respectful of the
Married dynamic. We're not trying to
family.
expose all the personal
And
deep stuff.
you don't want to. You just got to figure out kind of where your line is and what you're comfortable with, and that's going to be interesting to watch. The other thing that I think is interesting to watch with you is you're still, I don't know if it by definition, but very much so in some respects, in the honeymoon phase, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so you're very lovey and like understanding and like and we're still kind of
So
in
you're
that,
saying in 3 years it's going to be teach me, motherfucker?
I just
Yes.
think
Teach me, asshole.
they're a little more serotonin than oxytocin.
Shut the fuck up, babe.
Nice reference on the chemicals, by
that's
the
even
way.
better.
Sweet call on that.
So,
Shut your powell, babe.
but I do think it'll be interesting to watch over the years a progression of a relationship very much so too. And I'm actually kind of excited about that because I think
It is unique because
Yeah.
most of our
you don't get to
age
watch
group-
that trajectory, and
Right.
I'm excited to watch that. And I think that's something people should tune in for. Like, if anything, like to watch a relationship kind of grow.
Yes, and we're in a
Or fall
not
apart.
I'm not worried about that.
globally unique situation, but in our peer group, a kind of a unique situation for many factors that we
Yeah.
won't go into today. But most to what you're saying is the fact that we're 40, got married at
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
And most of our peers have been married for a decade or more
Yeah.
and didn't have children when they got married.
Well, it's actually kind of refreshing to look back and see that, though.
Right.
Like, it honestly is.
It
And it's
is.
nice to be reminded of that and kind of just watch this curve. And
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Watch for them to just cuss each other out on the podcast.
well, like
It's
you
gonna
said,
happen.
if you're real, the listeners see it and they appreciate it.
That's exactly right.
Every time we've gone off on a tangent and he's gotten real about something and shared something personal and just been truthful to the listeners, that's when the good feedback comes.
And that's
good,
what
bad,
you're-
or indifferent, but it's feedback.
and that's what you're doing. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no doubt that this is real, and I like that. It's a
Yeah.
peek behind the curtain. I've learned something. I'm a lot like Chris in a lot of respects. I've learned. I guess I always knew that, but I'm like, okay, we think alike in a lot of ways. I've had to see that, like it's right there in front of me when I listen, which is good because that means I'm relating.
right.
I enjoy it. Like I said, my second favorite podcast is called Teach Me Babe, and it can be found on iTunes. It can be found on
Spotify.
All
Spotify.
those.
Yeah, so you guys went straight to the big dog. You went to the existing big dog in iTunes, but you went to the up and comer too.
Up and
Oh,
comer.
yeah.
I like that you made that move. That
Yeah.
was
Well, you inspired us. You taught us how to do all of this stuff. I mean, Chris does all that behind the scenes, editing, uploading.
Yeah, you're just like me, Chris.
It's a lot of work.
He wants to be like you.
Luckily, we haven't had to cut anything out yet, though, so you may have to teach me that one day.
I would beg to differ on that because there was a dry run episode. I'm pretty sure he was sent that over to you, Brendan. Not sure about you, Troy.
I did not get to hear that.
The dry run episode did feature a couple of choice words that would probably have not been preferred by our listeners at all.
We've
Not that
gotten
we have
pretty
that
good.
many listeners, but it's fine.
In our 6 years, we've gotten pretty good. I think most of the editing is when guests come on, and y'all
Yeah.
won't have to deal with that because it'll be the two of you.
Right.
But we're always surprised what our guests are willing to share. They'll be like, we'll get reserved people in, and they're like, well, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about that. And then 4 minutes in, they're talking about something that's way worse than that they didn't want to talk about. And then we're like,
Yeah.
okay.
I've seen that happen a handful of times with guests where they've been like, Dad, you might not be able to put that one out. I got a big album coming out, and I don't. And it's like,
Yeah.
Why
well,
did you talk about
then
that?
why'd you
then?
bring it up? I didn't tell you to tell the story
Yep.
about beating off in the ocean. You just
right.
did.
We didn't write that down prior to firing this thing
So
up.
I have a question then, because we're about to go do our potentially like more of a free form episode.
Gonna have
next
some
week.
guests next
And
week?
have some
Nice.
guests.
Yeah.
First one.
That's
So,
awesome.
Which might be the brothers. I'll spoiler that. They haven't agreed to this yet.
One of them will do it.
One of them will be in. What do you have any pro tips for guests?
Usually, this is a pro tip for you more so than the guests, is that before they get on, say, where's your line? What
Yeah.
do you feel comfortable talking about, and what do you not feel comfortable talking about? Because anyone who's about to do the podcast for the first time has already been like stressing about something that they didn't want to talk about.
Right.
And so they're gonna be very open with that if they have it. Like, please don't talk about sex or my drinking or something. You know, there's gonna be something that
my
will.
drunken sex.
Or this thing on my
Or-
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But
that
they'll-
rash I have.
That's caused by my drunken sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they've known that they're gonna be on the podcast for 24 hours, they've thought about everything they don't want to say.
Okay.
If
So-
you catch them in the moment and go, let's podcast, then yeah, they haven't thought about it long enough.
so
But
it's almost better in some ways, but then they might have regrets and be like, "Could you not post that up?"
Yeah,
'Cause-
hence the Drunken Rider Cup podcast.
Yes.
we've had some interesting things go there. But you see, none of that was me, so I'm like, it's being posted.
And he will remember it anyway.
We used
Yeah.
to have a lot of guests. We used to try to do a guest a week.
Well, the pandemic has certainly put a hurt in that. But even before that, I think we were starting to fall off. And I think that's mostly, there's a word for it. I think it's lazy.
Yeah, I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Laziness for sure.
Yeah. My favorite episode that you guys did with a guest was On from
Yes.
The Answer.
Still
That
my
was-
favorite as
Oh,
well.
That was a
he's
great
so
Yeah, that
good.
was a
episode.
great one.
And recently, the Spirit Halloween guy, he was hilarious.
Yeah, I really liked Ray. He
That
was
is a
awesome.
Ray was great.
bespoke pull right there.
Yeah.
Ray knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
He walked in here and I'm like, I don't know this guy. I don't know what to expect. And he like just took to it like a fish to water. I mean, immediately.
Oh, we can tell the listeners too, because Ray talks about it. He was talking about I think we talked about it on the podcast. He was looking
Yep.
for those Blanton toppers. Everyone has a letter on it. He found in the wild the one with the O on it, so now he has the collection
Oh,
of all
nice.
the
He
Blanton
has
toppers.
all the Blantons.
And I was very excited for that. I was more excited than I should have been when he texted me that picture. I
Yeah,
was
you
like-
sent us
I
all
was
the
like,
pictures.
This is
We were all
awesome.
amped up.
Why is this so awesome? Yeah, but Ray's great.
He was over the top.
One of my
And-
favorite, it was Josh. Josh, the Appalachian Trail guy.
Oh,
I thought that was
Well, that one inspired me to the point that I drove to the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
Did you go hiking after that?
I walked on it.
What, does he live on the trail? I'm sorry, I missed that one.
So you'll have to go back and listen.
I will.
He hiked it. He hiked it from start to finish. Started down in Georgia, went all the way up to Maine. He did it in 2017. He did over 4 months.
Yeah, I believe it's called
Wow.
Hike Your Hike.
Yeah, and it was just so cool because I've read a bunch of books and watched movies and all that stuff, but like he told us all the cool little things that happen on the trail that you don't know about. So I really enjoyed that one.
On
that was
those
great.
trails, there's one that you can do that's in like you figure it out. You can go search it up, but it's in France and Spain, and you literally walk those trails all the way through it when it's guided, and there's stops, and there's like all sorts of different tents. You can do condos. You can do all along the way. So it's very
Interesting.
fancy.
Yeah.
But it's
So it
long.
can be bougie
It's like
hiking.
Bougie hiking, but lots of long term.
Well, there's a lot on the
You're
Appalachian
in the
Trail.
woods.
There's a lot of places. What are they called? Hostels. They call them.
Hostels
Okay,
scare
so
me
they've got
from that
little-
movie.
Yeah, he would every 2 weeks he'd stay and he'd rent a room from somebody for $25 and take a
so
shower.
you
and,
can shower.
yeah,
Wash his
exactly.
clothes.
Yeah, wash
Yeah,
his
you
clothes.
Sam, if you're scared about hostels, you haven't spent enough time on the internet, because I know there's that scary one, but there's certain sites that have all kinds of hostel footage that
Hostel
make
Well,
still
he-
gives me nightmares to this day.
He
not
called.
to digress.
He was living. He just moved back to Virginia, but he was in Italy for 5 years. So he called
See?
us from Italy to tell us his story. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, all of those cool European countries that have fancy countrysides, which I've never been in any of them,
Yeah.
apparently have those bougie hiking. It's bougie, but it's still hiking. But you just can.
Well, that's
they
the-
have places to actually stop.
when you lay your head down, it's somewhere nice. It's just
Right.
getting there takes
Yeah.
10 hours of walking.
Correct.
That actually
That's
sounds
fair enough.
Sounds
Yeah.
amazing, and they have wine.
If you walked all day, you could stay in a place. I don't think you have to stay in a tent every night.
No,
No, well,
I'm not staying in a tent.
yeah, I don't know. I've gone back and forth.
Just depends on if you consider yourself a real hiker or not.
That's exactly right. Like, I would probably sleep in a hammock some nights, but I there's got to be a point where I'm like, forget this. A hojo would work.
Yeah.
You know, anything, you know.
Heat, warm water, all those things are key.
They are pretty enjoyable in the
Right.
grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
I could go for that.
I did listen. I've listened to all the episodes, and I have to
course.
say, yeah, all 5 of them. But
Quite the commitment.
It
I-
is.
I tell Brendan this all the time. I've never been to Radford, but you motherfuckers are the most proud people I have ever met.
And we don't even have football.
And yeah, and I don't know anyone who went to Radford that won't tell you how awesome Radford is. And now I'm like, do I want to go and check it out? Do I want to send my kids there? Like, it sounds freaking fun. Like, it
It
sounds
is
like a
fun.
great place to go to school.
It is a good time. There's
Going
no
and
doubt.
checking it out though is obviously not the same thing.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
like
send your kids there for sure.
Definitely send your kids. We'll send our kids, and then we'll all go down there and relive it.
Nice.
It's going to be amazing.
it's still not the same. Just relive. You know what I mean? It's like the equivalent of staring at a steak and being like, "That was really good."
Yeah.
Was it? Because you just stared at it.
Yeah, it was funny back in like 2010 or so. I went back down for a recruiting fair actually, where I was trying to go down and get teachers to come to my county and,
Oh, really?
and work
Oh,
in my
cool.
county back when I was doing the school administration thing. And walking around campus was nostalgic, but not happy nostalgic. It was like,
Sad.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I didn't have to drive home right now.
Yeah.
And I wish I could spend the rest of the day laying on the quad and throwing a frisbee and then
Yeah.
going and drinking 20
At
beers.
BT's.
Last time I was there, I went and sat at the clocks, which to anyone who went to college, there's always like a communal point on your campus where people tend to congregate, and you can always be like, meet me at whatever that spot
Y'all
is.
had a clock, and everybody
it was
had to
it
go
was
there?
three
It was a clock.
three
It
It was
clocks.
3 clocks.
Yeah, with like some
It was not very impressive, to be fair. It was,
no, no.
Is it ever?
You know those monoliths they're finding all over the
Yeah,
world right
yeah.
now.
Look
It's
like that.
3 of those with a clock at the top, and it's just kind of sitting there. But
Fancy.
but to us,
But it was a clock.
boy howdy,
Yeah.
you know, it was a siren song, and like everyone went to it.
Outside of the dining hall, kind of between many of the buildings. Key place.
And so
Nice.
I was there, and I went and I sat down at the clocks. That lasted about 15 seconds before I was like, "You look awkward as shit," and I got up and left. And there were times where I would like sit there for hours, and people would come by, and I would just chat them up, and I'd
Yep.
go in, get more food, come back out, sit there. Didn't get.
Realize you had class at 2 and just look at your watch and go, or look at the clock and go, I'll skip it today.
There were days I'd literally made it to campus and stayed at the clocks.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't get into that class. It was like, boy, I'm a piece of crap.
Do you consider that time prep for this current podcast situation?
In some respects, a lot of small talk, a lot of being able to keep a conversation moving. You know, in particular, if you were attracted to the person in front of you,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta keep them laughing.
If he was filling his jeans nicely,
Right.
Which back then was hard because the jeans were baggy,
That is true.
so it took a real special kind of gentleman.
We were looking, by the way. We were all looking.
I remember I got made fun of at one point by a girl because she was like, your jeans are so tight. Which, honest to God, if I wore those jeans today, you'd be like, what's up with the baggy-ass jeans?
Yeah.
But it was so baggy back then, and I never wanted to be full, like crazy baggy. So I just had Lucky jeans, which were kind of, like Lucky jeans to this day aren't as tight necessarily, and back then they weren't as baggy. They tend to kind of hit the middle ground there between whatever the trends are. And I remember I got made fun of by this girl in front of other girls. And I was like, that sucks. Like, just clowning my tight jeans, which are not tight.
It wasn't your wife.
I remember in
No.
in the late 90s at VCU, like, all the girls were wearing what they called party pants. Those black pants that were skin tight and then flare at the bottom.
I am familiar
And
with
I
those
remember
party pants.
thinking at the time, there cannot be a better pair of pants than this. Snap to 2020 where everyone just wears leggings everywhere. And you're like, well, that's even cooler. Like, you look back at those flared party pants, you're like, they were kind of weird looking now that you look back at them. But you go to a sorority girls will come over and they'd all have them on. The uniform.
As long as we're
uniform.
As long as we're done with stirrup pants, I'm good.
No, they're coming back.
Everything comes back, Brendan.
I will not put those on. Those are from 4th grade, and they will stay in the 4th grade.
Yeah, I don't mind like leggings,
you look good
yoga
in them,
pants.
though, Brendan.
Oh, I look great in anything. That's just genetics.
So I have a question for you guys, since I'm a diehard listener and listen to 100% of your episodes. We've gone over this.
5 times.
Y'all have I'm guessing it's an inside joke, and maybe you don't have to tell me the inside joke, but I picked up on it. You say "the" in front of a lot of things.
They did that tonight.
Yes, they did
called
do
it
tonight.
the sex,
Yeah,
and
the
I was
sex.
about
Are we
to
gonna talk about the
comment,
sex?
but
they
I
talk about the Radford, and they talk about the.
There's a lot of the.
I'm like,
and they didn't go to Ohio State.
yeah.
We did not.
So I don't get
And
it.
I'm like, they're obviously doing this on purpose. There must be a joke there.
It's not a purposeful thing. So my Aunt Katie has like kind of her own lingo about things.
Okay.
And that has translated down to my mom and to me. And we just say so it's not intentional. We say the Costco and the Walmart.
Yeah, because old people do that, right? The Walmart.
What I've discovered is it is an old people thing.
Yeah.
My Aunt Katie's been doing this for forever.
It's 4:30. Must be time for the dinner.
Yeah.
The dinner. It's totally a thing. I don't know. So I don't have a premise. These people are not old who started this. This has been going on for decades in my family. I have been called out on it for the latter.
So you
part
don't
of
even
my
know
life.
you're doing it.
No.
That's hilarious.
It's been
I like
translated
it.
to
It's funny.
Chris.
So she started doing it, and then I started doing it without even thinking about it. And
just
then,
being around
like,
each other.
Her friends, these group of girls,
The
from
Marionettes.
they all do
They
it
do
now
it?
too.
Interesting.
It's like
It's
a
random.
cancer just spreading through.
No, it's like, I mean, think about growing up
cancer.
when your friend of yours was like, "Oh, dude, that's sick."
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Yeah, it is
it's
sick."
Yeah, and then you just start saying sick in front of everything.
Right.
For no reason at all.
I didn't realize how often I say things are dope
Yeah.
until I met this guy, and he's from North Carolina. I don't see him very often, and then I noticed that every time I was around him, he'd always be like, "That's dope," and point at me, and I was like, "Oh no!" Like I say it too much because
Yeah.
he equates me with always saying that word. I was like, "Damn it!"
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's dope.
It's a good word, though. I mean, it doesn't really go out of style.
I
Does
guess.
it?
I don't know. So, know something else that never goes out of style?
What?
Santa Claus.
Oh,
Do you guys know much about Santa Claus?
I don't think so.
Could I
You got
teach you, babes?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Let's go.
Oh,
Could I
sweet.
teach
I
you,
see what
babes,
you
a
did
little
there.
bit?
That was awesome.
The
Jolly
Santa Claus?
old Saint Nick.
A little bit about Santa Claus? Do you
The
guys?
Santa Claus?
The Santa
The
Claus?
Santa Claus. Thanks, Troy.
Like, so, do you know who he's named after originally? Do you know? There is a person, Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas.
There is a Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
Niklaus?
It's yeah. I think that would be kind of closer to it. Yes.
Hmm.
But there was an actual Saint Nicholas.
German.
Actually, he was born
Oh.
he was born in what would be considered modern day Turkey,
Okay.
is where Saint Nicholas is actually from, which is interesting because he's worldwide known.
Yeah.
But he's from Turkey, and he was born actually in 2080 AD. So
AD.
he goes back way back in
It's a
time.
couple hundred years at least.
About 2. About 200
I'm not a
years
math
ago.
guy.
Yeah, about 200 years ago.
Yeah.
So after the death of Christ, right, by 280 years, yet somehow is affiliated with Christmas.
Weird.
Very odd, I thought. I thought that
think
was a
that's
little
weird.
odd.
You're just now piecing that together. That's odd that the fat guy that flies around giving out gifts is associated with Christmas. That's associated with Christianity.
208 years later.
Yeah.
But how do you end up associated with Christmas, right? Like
I don't
this
know
is
how
very
any
odd.
of this stuff works.
How does a Saint Nicholas from Turkey, end up being
How's the
associated
Easter Bunny
with
give
Christmas?
out chicken eggs? I don't know how this shit works. They just do it.
Boy,
I know.
if you
They give
could riddle me
plastic
that, that's actually very interesting.
Why does a bunny give out chicken
Why
eggs?
does he? I've never.
Very weird.
Teach me, Troy. You're up.
You're up next. We'll come.
That's all I
next
got. You just heard it all.
Which
Why?
came
I don't know.
first? Which came first, the
The
rabbit,
bunny.
the rabbit or the egg?
month.
It's an interesting question.
Chicken.
So this guy was known for his piety and how nice he was, and just being an amazing person. He was one of the most revered people in this part of the world. Rose his way up to sainthood, right? And he was known for helping the poor and the weak, but in particular was known for helping out the less fortunate and specifically children.
Okay.
Very helpful in dealing with kids. In
Sounds
fact,
familiar.
there's a legend. One of his more famous legends is when there was a dad who had 3 daughters. Now, this is back in the day when having a daughter was something that was difficult to marry off, right? Because you
Right.
need a dowry. You actually need a certain amount of cattle or money or something to offer up to
Like,
take this girl
person
off my
away,
hands.
'cause
Yes.
I have some cows.
Wait a second. Did this guy have a van with no windows?
I'll take your daughter.
Funny you say that. Yes, the Saint Nick van was super popular in the 1800s. No, so there's a famous story where this dad showed up at like the market and he was going to sell his 3 daughters off into slavery because he couldn't support them, he couldn't help them out, and Saint Nick rolled up and was like, "Nah, not on my watch," and gave each one of the girls a significant dowry, and was like,
Oh.
"Take those girls home. You are not doing this. They now have dowries. Find them suitable husbands."
Still sounds like an asshole dad to be like, if only you had enough money, I'll keep you bastards
That's
around.
why
Like,
all the dads were. The dads were giving
Yeah.
the girls away for the dowry. So if you have a better dowry, then you get a better
dads have
husband.
been assholes up
Theoretically,
until
better
about,
life.
what, like 20 years ago? Like,
Dads did suck.
Kind of.
For the
dads were never
longest time.
like,
They were just present. They were like, "Hey, we're dads."
were they? Or were they across town
Well-
banging their other wife?
Right.
Yeah.
So many things to say on that topic.
Yeah, he was known for these acts of kindness where he would come in and he would use he was like the original Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Like he had wealth and then he would bring it to the poor and he would bring it specifically to protect children. That was kind of his MO. He also did a lot for sailors. For whatever reason, I don't know, dude.
Sailors.
Yeah, for whatever reason, sailors were getting in trouble, showing up, being accused of treason, and he would go and he would like help them out. He would get them out of trouble. So he's really helping out kind of lowly sailors and children.
Okay.
All right.
I know that sounds odd, but
Yeah.
there's a reason I bring that up
Okay.
because he was so well revered in these 2 regards, and people loved him and they put him up into sainthood. Well, as sailors went out into the world and crossed over oceans and went to different countries and explored, they would speak of the exploits of St. Nicholas
Huh.
and how much of a good guy he was and all the good things he would do for children.
Did they say this as they were robbing and stabbing people?
I did not say pirates. I said sailors.
Sailors.
Okay, sorry.
Not the pirates.
I immediately went to pirates.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
Same thing,
because
right?
you want to be a pirate.
So as the Renaissance happened and people were sailing all over and talking, they continued to spread the word of St. Nicholas and how great of a guy he was. Well, during the Protestant Reformation, we started getting rid of saints. We didn't want sainthoods. It was about one God, this God.
Right.
We are going to look up here, and saints are not to be revered.
Okay.
But the dirty sailors, they don't necessarily believe in God. They got things out in the ocean they can't explain, mermaids and such, and weird.
Sirens.
So they would continue to party it up for St.
Kraken.
Nick, and they would spread the word. So it spread all around the world. Fast forward multiple years later, and New Amsterdam, which is currently modern-day New York, right?
Huh. I did not know that fun fact. When
Yeah.
you asked me what I learned today, that's going to be my fact.
So the Dutch came over, and that's what they colonized New Amsterdam.
Yeah, I've
Which-
seen gangs in New York. I get it.
Okay, I get it. So this is before there's America, right? Like they're over here.
Okay.
This is how kind of Saint Nick came to America in particular.
okay.
The Dutch would come over here, and the Dutch had a tradition where they would leave little wooden shoes out
Yes.
on Saint Nick's death anniversary,
I
which was in
remember this
December.
Okay.
So they would have these big old parties, and then at the end of the night, the kids would put their shoes, their wooden shoes out, and they'd fill them with straw, and then
Their
they
clogs.
would put them by the fireplace. And then the next morning, St. Nicholas would come, and he would take care of the good boys and the good girls.
Wait, I thought you said he died.
Well, he's long dead. He's long dead.
This is past 280 AD.
Yeah, this is like the 1700s.
Like,
Actually,
you
it's probably
know,
like
just
the
a couple hundred years ago.
yes, this is like 1500s, 1600s, 1700s. Like the Dutch are there colonizing. They're putting the shoes out, and the kids are getting little gifts. So that's kind of how it came to
Wasn't it candy? They
America.
put candy in the shoes, I think.
I think that's exactly right. Actually, thank you, Troy.
Hopefully they weren't stinky.
iPods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
No PS5, you suck.
And so you know what the Dutch name was for Saint Nick?
Saint Nick.
Sinterklaas.
Center. What's
There
the
we go.
center?
They, I don't know. It's just
Oh.
how they.
It's probably a Dutch word for
Yeah,
saint.
it's probably saint. Actually,
Sure.
that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. So they would call him Sinterklaas. So this
Sure.
is how you're starting to see kind of the Santa Claus thing.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
now in every corner of the world. Now, I had emailed Stu an entire list of everything that happened in the 17 to 1800s around Santa Claus. Now, Stu's not here,
Not present.
Yeah.
Vince, present.
so I don't
Get
have
it?
all
Uh-huh.
of these, unfortunately. But like the Swiss and Germans had Kris Kringle or Christkind, is what they called
Yeah.
him. And that's what they had. The Scandinavians had literally just says Scandinavia. But they had
Interesting.
what
Well,
was
I thought he was
original.
originally from Scandinavia. When you said the turkey, I was said,
yeah, but
that's
what was
Scandinavia.
what was really interesting is oftentimes these little characters that showed up, it was Saint Nick that would always go around and help out the kids, but it was like a little elf that came along with Saint Nick,
Right.
and he would go down a chimney and like scatter toys around or like help out. So you have all these different variations and all these different things that tagged along with Saint Nick.
Can we digress on Elf on the Shelf?
Oh, please do. That thing is ridiculous.
Elf on the Shelf.
We have 3 of them.
Ew.
3.
You got to hide 3 different elves?
Plus a
Yes.
reindeer.
That's 90
Oh.
hiding spots.
It's ridiculous. So number 1's in on the jig, though. She asked me a few weeks
Good.
ago, Sam, are the elves real? And I'm like, really? Like I'm by myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
By the way,
Don't do that.
she comes downstairs afterwards and was like, I have something to tell you, and I hope you're okay with this, because we did not discuss it
There was
beforehand.
no plan. I didn't know it was coming.
You know how number 1 used to love Christmas? I've robbed that from her.
No,
for a time.
number 1 is amazing. She has been playing it up the whole time. Tonight she's supposed to hide said elves. By
Okay.
the way, I told her this is your last chance because we're gonna be gone. Anyway, Elves on the Shelf. That was started by 2. You know who that started by? 2 moms who were like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
have some elves to hide." F the elves.
Yeah,
on the
they're
shelf.
awful people.
I got to hide that.
They're
Awful
amazing.
people.
Let's make
No,
let's make
it's not
these little
amazing.
$3 dolls that come with a book.
Yeah.
We'll sell them for $30.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's
And
brilliant.
Everybody in the world.
Business plan, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
will
like what
want
if
that.
you invented stockings? You know,
Yeah.
like
Oh.
you got to hang stockings.
Well,
Like
that's
brilliant.
probably in your notes because that probably came along pretty close.
A lot of that's in Stu's inbox.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was really hoping. I was really
Damn it,
hoping.
Stu.
I was really hoping to banter with Stu.
Well, you've
So,
got us now. We're
I'm
talking about elves
hoping-
on the shelf.
We were hoping that the 11-year-old this year was definitely figured it out, but he
Still in.
still in.
Hmm.
The 9-year-old is Googling shit.
Oh yeah.
He Googled his Santa Claus real this morning. He's told
Oh,
the wife
crap.
that he doesn't believe in Santa Claus, but whatever. He wants the gifts.
You believe if you want a
Yeah,
present
exactly.
for sure.
We've gotten lazy with the elf. The elf hasn't been moving every night, so they're like,
Same.
wait, he's still in the
Bad
same
kids.
spot. Yeah. I'm like, look, dude.
Elves are tired.
The 11-year-old's lost teeth, and we're trying to like remember to do the tooth fairy
Oh.
and move the elf, and like I don't have all.
It creates stress too because
Yeah.
like
So much
say
stress.
one night it's late and I know the kids are asleep and I move the elf upstairs near their rooms, like I know I can get away with it. That doesn't mean that the next fucking day
Yeah.
they're going to be asleep when I have to go up and retrieve said elf
Yeah.
Right.
and move it to another location. So it's
Yeah.
creating stress the next day. So I'm starting to get lazy out of
Lazy.
respect for me the next day.
And you start. you and the
Respect for
wife start.
yourself.
You and the wife start bickering like, "It was your turn.
No.
You forgot." Like,
We're not there yet. Chris just is scared, so I'm like, let's put him in the room because
Yeah.
the kids are like, let's put
Yeah,
him in
that's
our
so
room. Why are
ballsy.
they in our room?
No, I was out. I was like,
He's so scared. I'm like,
Yeah.
who cares? I'm just
fucking
gonna go grab
hate
the elf.
going in like Tooth Fairy
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate Tooth Fairy.
And like sliding my hand under the pillow,
Yeah.
trying not to move the pillow. And then the kid turns and I drop down to the ground. I hate that shit.
So our kids got little plastic boxes to put their teeth in
Yeah.
when they fall out. We tell them to leave it on the dresser for the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
And-
We did
and-
the same thing.
yeah.
We got one of those pillows so that you could like intentionally put it in the
yeah,
little
yeah.
Right.
envelope.
Uh-huh.
I'll put
So-
your big ass head on it.
One of my kids
Fairy
though,
can't get to it.
one of my kids will hide the pillow.
Oh God.
And now you're in there in the middle of the night
Trying-
digging for a pillow.
Yeah.
Playing hide
Not a
and
game.
seek.
You just say the Tooth Fairy doesn't like hide and seek. She's got a
Yeah, she
very
got other
busy
shit.
schedule and agenda to stick to, and she cannot be searching
I
for
wish
your
I
Tooth
would have
Fairy
thought of
pillow.
that. I'm down there with a headlamp digging
Wow.
around under the bed like an
There's your
asshole.
pro tip.
Extra quiet, like trying not to get caught. And I've been busted, but got away with it. Like one kid
Yeah.
sleeps funny. Kid sat up. was
Number
all
2
like-
sits up.
Yeah, like looked at me and I'm like frozen, deer in headlights. Like, oh shit, dollar in hand. And like, then she just went back down.
Yep.
And I was like, no way.
And you're like scared to move. You're like, if I move,
Yeah, there was one night I ran straight into a wall on the way out because
Nice.
there's a right angle to get out,
Uh-huh.
and I was so amped up after hiding the dollar, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, man, I nailed this! Like, look at me, dadding it up." And I came around all like quick-footed, wham, right into the wall.
Oh,
Hurt, man,
it's unfortunate.
but I rolled out quick, like
just fell to the ground.
did a
and-
quick spin move, yeah, hit the ground, fucking crab walked out. I pulled it off.
Yeah, those elves on the shelf. I'm ready. Can we?
They are tough. I've started, my new thing is hiding them where it's really difficult for them to find.
Ooh.
Because it used to be about like how cool it could be because of
Yeah.
like Facebook and Instagram. Everyone's like,
Right.
like, oh my gosh, look, the elf's making snow angels, which their hands don't come apart. You can't make a fucking snow angel.
Yeah.
Stop putting that on Instagram. Like it's not how it works.
Their hands come apart.
Oh,
Mine
no.
doesn't.
One of
Mine doesn't.
one of Sam's friends
Yeah.
always wanted to say like they wish the elf could like grab stuff and hold stuff. She sewed metal wire into the arms and legs so that you could wrap it around
No
stuff
way.
and
Wow.
hold stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
make
That's
it do
dedication.
And it's
stuff.
amazing.
Seriously.
That's brilliant. I really like that.
That's a lot of
I've
effort.
never understood the elves getting into trouble because I'm like,
You're
the
supposed to keep
elf-
them out of trouble.
The elf's supposed to be behaving and watching you behave. And by the way, I'm also not making a freaking mess in the damn kitchen that I got to clean up the next day.
For those of you who can't see me right now, I'm pointing at one
There you
CW
go.
over here
I did
because
it.
he likes to take the powdered sugar and sprinkle it all over the kitchen. And then
Oh yeah.
surprised and frustrated when children put their fingers in it and lick it all day. I'm like, you dumped the sugar
I
all
don't know
over
why
the
we have
counter.
ants.
On the weekends, I tend to be a little more creative with that. But this is
Sure.
the year where I've started going to putting the elf like difficult spots to find.
Yes.
Like we have a poinsettia plant over by the fireplace.
Poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
Sedia.
I don't like
Nobody
all
I
that.
have an issue
No
with
one
that.
says poinsettia.
It's the correct way of saying
Yeah.
it. It's how it's spelled.
It's correct.
Aluminium. Don't give me this bullshit. So, Ely's not here to defend her.
Yeah.
but like so I put her in the poinsettia plant. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Sure.
Poinsettia.
And like I had leaves that had fallen off, red leaves, and like put them over her hat, put them over her face. Like
awesome.
like she looked like she was in one of those ghillie suits.
Yeah. Ghillie suit.
Ghillie suits, like of just poinsettia leaves. And like they were like,
Ready to
we
snipe
can't.
somebody.
And they're like, we can't find the elf. And I was like, yeah. So I'm getting like sadistic fun out of like very difficult hiding places.
That's awesome.
Because at least it keeps them entertained
It
all
does.
morning.
And we're getting to that age where they're like, but they're not hiding. And we're like, oh, for Pete's sake. Okay, we've got to actually hide these effers, not
Yeah.
just put them in weird,
Never good
precarious
enough.
places.
It is.
Yeah. And number 2, do you want to talk about how number 2, the jig is up for number 2, but he's in denial.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, I think it was like right at the end, probably I guess Christmas Day or whatever. And we go, and I think we were leaving to go somewhere, and it was the last day the elves were supposed to be out. They were upstairs, the kids were downstairs, and I was like, shit, I got to get rid of these things, where they're supposed to be done. They're supposed to be gone.
Yeah.
And I grabbed them all and stuffed them in my nightstand. And then a week later, I send number 2 upstairs. I was like, hey, can you go grab my wallet off my nightstand? I didn't say out of the inside of my nightstand, the bottom drawer specifically. And he comes back down. He's like, I couldn't find your wallet. But it was weird. The elves were all in your drawer. I was like, they were all hugging.
That is weird. It's February. I don't know what they're doing
Go
here.
home by now.
Better than finding a gun.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I
let's
mean?
be clear.
Like,
It's
Or something else that's in a nightstand.
Yeah.
Is that electric air cleaner?
Oh, but my neck's never felt better.
It has a pull start.
Yeah, it's always a little scary. I did catch my daughter going through those drawers, and she was on drawer 2 looking for something. I was
Yeah.
like, don't go to 3. Don't go to 3.
No, back away.
Yeah. I was like, what are you looking for? She's like, what are you yelling about? It doesn't matter. What do you need?
When we bought our house, the linen closet in the hallway upstairs had a latch and a lock at the top of the door. And I was like, what the hell were they keeping in this linen
Nice.
closet that they didn't want any of the short people to get to?
The sex swing.
A whole
I
bunch
like
of
it.
things.
Or the bad kids. Like,
Yes. All right, I got one
Yikes.
little tidbit for you about Saint Nick.
'Kay.
So the night before Christmas, the poem
Sure.
Christmas Eve.
from the 1800s.
Twas
you know
the
what I
night
mean?
before Christmas.
Twas the night before Christmas. It was written by Clement Clark Moore in 1822. It's
Wow.
extremely, extremely old. You know what it was originally called? A
What?
Visit from St. Nicholas.
Huh.
Not the night before Christmas.
Huh.
That was a later adaptation. Well, this was the first time that St. Nick had ever been described in the traditional Santa Claus garb.
Yeah.
Okay.
And kind of the suit and the
Oh, yeah.
sash and
The
all
pipe
of this.
and the smoke circling
The
around
sleigh.
his head.
There's a pipe? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So this
Unaware.
became a really, really popular poem. Now this is, you keep in mind, you're 1822. These things get passed around like, oh my God, have you seen the new Visit from St. Nick? It's amazing. And like it gets published. So it gets picked up, and then all the newspapers looking for content pick it up, and it gets picked up kind of worldwide. And because St. Nick is known worldwide. So this imagery starts to occur.
Ah.
And then so this becomes the St. Nick imagery. And it wasn't until a few years later that some people, in order to start selling gifts, would be like, St. Nick is here. And they'd put them at their shop or put them at such and such place. An image of St. Nick or a person actually
This is-
dressed up. By
This
like the
is Mall Santa 1.0. Is
By
what
like-
this is.
There you go.
Basically.
By the 1840s, this was actually something that was happening to sell goods that time of year so that
Huh.
people would show up to see St. Nick and they'd get excited. And then the parents could, pick up a little something to put in the clog or put over here, depending on what your particular
Parents were
tradition was.
trampling each other for the new wooden car.
Cabbage Patch Kid.
And then, you just fast forward many years and they become mall Santas and all these different things. And so St. Nick slowly became Santa Claus somewhere between kind of the 1820s, 1840s into modern day. And it was because of fucking commercialism.
Always.
Just not technology.
Yeah.
But isn't that wild? Like that's kind of how he became
Yeah.
Santa Claus. Now there was a lot of really good facts that were in there in the middle,
Fine, but they were not here. They were not present.
but I wanted to teach you babes something.
There you
I
go.
learned stuff.
Nice.
There
I
you
like
go.
it.
Thank you, Brendan. That was awesome.
I got you.
Yeah.
And in honor of that, I have a special deli.
Okay.
There is a 6-pack under here, and it is the
Reindeer piss.
it's reindeer piss.
Delish.
No, it's
No.
literally a 6-pack from Anchor Steam.
I'll have one of those while you're down there, though, Troy.
It is their special holiday brew. They do this every year. They change up the formula. They tweak it a little bit.
Y'all each want a whole one?
Sure.
We
can
have
handle it.
we have the Anchor Steam. What's it called? What's the official, Chris? Can you read that off?
Yeah.
There's the Christmas beer,
It
right?
says
Or-
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year on the top. I do not see a title other than at the top it says Our Special Ale.
so I thought,
Made in San Francisco, folks.
I like a Christmas beer.
I like anything that's Christmas.
Here you go.
More than pumpkin.
Troy, that's our backup deli you just grabbed there. The Hell or High Watermelon Mango.
Chris said he wanted one.
Were there a few others left down there?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, excellent. Yeah, so this is the Anchor Steam Christmas beer or holiday beer. I thought it would be apropos after discussing St. Nick.
It would.
And I can't take credit for this.
This is the 46th version of it.
This was brought to us by the Abacus. Hand delivered.
Nice. He'll be here next week.
So, respect.
46. You're right. Annual special ale from the brewers at the Anchor.
Anchor Steam's
Ale.
considered basically one of the very first craft breweries that were ever out there.
Oh, yeah. They've been around a minute.
So I'm excited to try this because every year it is a little bit different. They change up the spices. They change up the complexity. It's very interesting. So Abacus, thank you so much for bringing this by. We appreciate it and helped inspire what I was going to teach today.
It did.
You know what he's going to be here for next week, right?
The Holiday Drink Challenge.
Yeah.
What's
He
the
and
holiday
Jay.
drink challenge?
Ooh,
Oh,
once a year.
Once a year.
We do a Holiday Drink Challenge.
I don't know about that.
Boy, this year's is spicy.
And Brendan does not win.
No, which was
What
now
do you
why
have to do? I mean, I don't want to ruin it.
Everyone,
I'm just curious.
Holiday
everyone
drink?
brings a different drink in, and we do a taste test to see who wins.
And then vote.
Oh, a
And vote.
brand new drink.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
It originally started, the very first year was an eggnog challenge,
Mm.
and we did that.
I
And
like it.
I spent a boatload of money on my eggnog, came in last place. Ely spent next to nothing and won.
And first.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that was frustrating. So then the next year, I made a really nice mulled cider,
yum.
boiled it all day, got all the spices just right. Had been making mulled cider every weekend for 2 weeks prior to get the recipe dialed in. Came in last place.
Darn it.
Next year, decided to make something called a colloquia.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Puerto Rican
Yep.
twist
Rum.
on eggnog. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a fantastic Christmas
Sounds
drink.
amazing.
So I went all the way down to the Caribbean, got like the perfect
did.
stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mentally, like
Yep.
made it for 2 weeks in a row just to get it dialed in just right. Came in last place.
Huh.
So after that, I decided, hey guys, let's let other people make drinks and we'll just grade them because I was sick and tired.
So
of
last
losing.
year was our first year. The listeners came in and did it. And then this year will be year 2.
Well, we've done 5 holiday drink challenges.
So this will be year 6.
Is my understanding based on quick research.
I know Joe the Chef's coming in next week because he's the reigning champ.
Well, he's a chef.
Yes.
Or is that just a nickname?
Well, he was a chef at one time, but
Yeah.
he still carries the label.
the moniker?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
he still kicks
I'm
butt.
curious about this mulled cider and eggnog, not to flash back to your losing drinks, but I'm like, what did he do? Ely just won with like what? He brought gingerbread stout and then they
No,
was like, hey.
he got
guys.
you know pet eggnog, the stuff you
Yes.
can get in like a
Yeah.
Walmart,
At
Anywhere,
7-Eleven.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Sheets.
At Radford.
He went and bought that crap, poured some liquor in it, handed it to us, and everyone was like, "Ooh, this
Shut
is
up.
phenomenal!"
Yeah.
Mine was like super
homemade
high-end bourbon.
eggs,
I got
from
cream
the cow next door.
from the what is it's a creamery down in Roanoke. Like
Yeah.
I officially sought it out because it's supposed to be the best, eggnog in town. It was a Homestead Creamery down in Roanoke.
Did
and
you set it up that you got all these very specific
I've
Oh,
learned,
yeah.
I've learned something in doing this podcast is
Mm-hmm.
that they'll never let me win.
Mm.
They'll never let me win. If it was a blind taste test, maybe.
Maybe.
But if they know my name's on it,
I see.
You're lying.
That makes a lot of sense then why Ely won with the 7-Eleven eggnog because
it was actually delicious.
Yes.
I won't even deny.
No,
like,
I'm sure it was
delicious.
fine and dandy, but I wonder what a blind taste test would have done.
I don't know what to make of this beer.
This is a different kind of finish. It almost tastes like you're drinking a tree.
Yeah, but
Got
not even
trees
like
all over it.
not even a good tree.
Not a good tree. Sequoias apparently, but no.
Yeah, they name it after, or I guess it's not even named, but they brew it after a different tree every year.
I would like to give them
Oh,
a pro
cool.
tip to not put the description around the skinny part of the bottle and put it down at the bottom part
Where
of
you
the
could
bottle.
actually read it?
Here, I don't have to go like this, and no one can see me,
It's
but I'm twisting it
7%,
around.
so it's pretty boozy.
Yeah, that's what we should do before a drink challenge. Is drink. Brilliant. And not eat dinner. It's going to be an interesting one.
Oh, are we going to get some drunk Troy on this next episode?
Could very well.
This
Could
is
very well.
amazing. That's good.
But I do have to get home and work tomorrow. So
This
be
is a
fine.
little
Fine.
pungent.
I'm not a fan. It also is like.
Do you want to
syrupy.
start? Do you want to go ahead? Do you want to start?
Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're going to rate it 1 to 5 and tell us what you think.
5 is the best.
5 is the best.
Yeah.
What
won't-
is a 5? Can I say a 5 was like this previous Hardywood gingerbread porter that I was drinking?
You could give it a 5. We
that
did
I
not.
would give a 5.
So 5 is like the perfect beer. So in my mind, a Guinness
Not
is a 5.
holiday, just perfect
No, the
beer.
perfect beer.
Like if you're stranded on a
Ooh.
desert island,
Over 2.5 is you would seek it out and buy
Yeah.
it again.
is a good way to look at it.
What's the one that I like?
If you were
What
stranded
would
on
be
a
Are
your
you trying to
5?
talk about other beers right now?
Well,
or
I'm
the
trying
one-
to think of my
the one
5 so
we're-
I
if
can
you were
tell us your
stranded,
five.
if you were stranded on a desert island and you can only bring one beer, that beer's your 5. Whatever that beer is,
Oh, yeah. The Deschutes,
Deschutes.
Squeeze.
Squeeze.
the fresh squeeze,
That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
that shit's dope.
Yeah, it's a good one.
This is not that.
Yeah.
No, so 2.5 is right down the
I
middle.
would give
Anything,
it a 1.5.
Ooh,
1.5.
destroyed. Sam from Teach Me Babe hates
Sorry.
the holidays.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still going to drink it.
No, it's okay. There's
But
no
it's-
wrong answer
you know.
unless you're Stu.
I like beer.
It does
That's
have a
fine.
hair of DKML to it, though.
I'm not getting it. I don't think this is bad. I don't.
Why
think
don't
this
you
is
go ahead
bad
and
at
give
all.
us your score?
I mean, I don't know what flavors are in it really. I
Right.
mean, a little bit piney, but
Yes.
this isn't bad. I give it a 3. I don't think it tastes bad at all. Doesn't linger. It's got enough flavor in it. It's not that light, and it's not so heavy it leaves a funk in my mouth, at least for me.
Well,
Right.
it's
Um,
certainly not hoppy.
No.
I think it lingers, but that's just me.
I think what it has is nutmeg, and that's drying out the back of
Yeah.
my throat.
Yeah, I'm getting the
all
dryness.
the Christmas beers have that, right?
Yeah, but I think that's what this is heavy on. Like
Yeah.
light on cinnamon, heavy on nutmeg, which
Yeah.
I would flip that if I was going to make my Christmas
Yeah.
beer. The malt backbone is through the roof.
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing if I pour this out, it's stouty or portery.
Yeah.
And the way it's visual, it's not thick though. Not in my mind.
No.
Yeah, I think I might be right in line with Troy for a 3.
Good call.
Do you
I,
all ever give less than a 3?
Yeah, but it takes-
Oh,
I
yeah.
do.
We're drunk, so like we tend to go, yay!
Right.
I like this.
No, I enjoy a Christmas beer. It's a different flavor. I'm personally like a big IPA guy, so I like a heavier, more flavorful beer.
And really, not much hop in this.
No, but I mean that's fine. I can, I also enjoy a sour.
But
or-
it still has flavor.
yeah, it has a good flavor. It's not great. It's not something I'd be super excited about. But if it was around Christmas time and I was going somewhere and happened to see it, I would pick it up again.
Yeah. I wouldn't tell people not to drink it. It's
Yeah.
not that bad.
No, but
Yeah.
okay. Just because I'm a newbie here on the beer rating scale,
It's okay.
if it's on the scale at all, it's still drinkable for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's
But maybe
fine.
that's not how you guys have been doing it traditionally.
No,
So-
don't backtrack. You stick with your guns.
No, I'm
That's
sticking
right.
with my 1.5.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if it was undrinkable, I wouldn't even give it a number.
So I'm giving it a 2.5. I'm going to go one step lower than you guys. Not because I don't like it, not because I do like it. That's why I'm giving it a 2.5. I actually like the nutmeg in it. What I don't know. Did he just walk in and fart?
It smells like a fart over here.
That was did
Did you step in something?
interesting. Okay, well don't track that in here.
Somebody's going to be mopping later.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.5 because I like the nutmeg. I don't like whatever the there's a bite that's coming from the malt that I can't really describe that I'm just not a huge fan of, and that's taking it down a peg. So for me, it's a 2.5.
It's not bad.
But it never got over a 3.
Yeah.
No.
It's
Not-
not. It's
not
not
a
exactly
deli.
None
a
of
winner.
us would go buy it at the Kroger tomorrow. Let's put it that way.
No.
No.
Sorry,
I wouldn't,
people.
I wouldn't.
All right. So I'm hoping that you babes can teach me something.
No. Oh, shit. Actually, I do have something to teach you.
Oh, yes.
This
This
is-
is a good pro tip.
Oh, because I was going to go down a different road, but I want to hear this now because I saw 4 eyes light up.
No, this was something I learned myself, and unfortunately, I learned it the hard way. So I know you, and you've had your fair
know
share
you.
of eye problems.
Oh my God, dude! I am
Oh,
the king
yeah.
of pink eye and styes and ingrown hairs. You name it.
Oh, man. That sounds awful.
color blindness.
Hey,
Right.
and guess
oh,
what?
that's right.
my eldest daughter has inherited my weak eyes.
Oh,
dang.
nice.
Sweet.
Because she'll be like, "Hey, Dad," come down the stairs, and I'm like, "Oh God, like, your right eye's closed." And she's like, "Yeah, kind of hurts, kind of hurts." And I'll be like, "Oh, you have a sty."
Do they
Oh.
need glasses at all? Like, can they see?
No, they're just they see perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They're just
The school nurse says they're fine.
she just happens to have the same thing as me, where it's like infections or you're just readily open for
They're missing that layer of protection on the eye for some.
it's
reason.
blepharitis or something. You have too much
Oh.
bacteria on your eyelid, and
Oh.
it causes all kinds of problems. But
There
go
you
ahead,
go. There's
continue.
a name.
Chris, I'm
There's
dying to
worse
hear this.
places to have too much bacteria.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is this what you're going to teach me?
No, we're gonna stay away from bacteria.
Oh, okay.
No, so I woke up in the middle of the night.
Summer's Eve.
Probably.
For your eye?
Yeah, you don't.
No,
you
might
don't,
as well have.
You don't
as
douche
it
your
turns
eyes.
So I woke up in the middle of the night. And like it's one of those things where kind of like you feel like your eyelash is caught in the corner of your eye, whatever.
Yeah, like
yeah.
And I just try
crusty.
I just try to pull it away, and I feel like I scratched myself in the middle of the night, and woke up the next day and my eyes all red, and I was like, oh, that sucks. I was like, I'll just use some eye drops. And
I'm guessing he had a zit on the inside of his eyelid. No, because this is.
This is something you've had?
I'm saying from a guy
Yeah.
who has, based on just the initial description, I'm guessing he has a zit on the inside of his eyelid, which is either caused by an ingrown hair or an actual clogged duct.
Actually, that could have been the root
Continue.
cause, but that's not where we're going
No,
with
you're
the
off.
story.
And so
Dr.
I started
Kennedy.
using eye drops. Couple days, still not going away. Then
Yep,
it
yep.
gets a little nastier and worse. You know, you wake up and it's all crusty and shit like that. I was like, damn, this kind of sucks. So after 3 days, I was like, maybe I should make an eye appointment. And luckily, one of Sam's marionette girlfriends
Chris
happens
is like, this
happens to be an optometrist.
There you go. Chris is like, this eye's going to affect the sex for sure.
It was bringing
There
him
you
down.
go,
I was
Troy,
like,
you're
"What?"
doing it.
I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Are you all right?" And you're like, "My eye." I'm like,
not my
"We gotta
fault."
call Olive."
The
Yeah.
impotence is caused by the eye.
So we called Dr. Olive, make an appointment, and I was like, in the meantime, we're going down to my sister's. And my sister is like the back alley dealer of medicines that can fix anything.
She's so bad.
Oh,
at it.
nice.
She's like,
Yeah.
you could use some echinacea.
Yeah.
She has every kind of
No, she has everything.
drug,
like,
steroids, antibiotics, all
yeah,
the things.
you have a cut
But
on
not
your knee,
holistic
she's
stuff.
got
She's
medicine
not
for
like-
that.
No. She just
Okay.
gets them
Oh.
and she hoards them.
Here's some
She has
essential
them.
oils that'll clear your eye.
She has essential oils. She has all the things. She just hoards them in the.
Yes, and she's had eye stuff too. So I was like, do you have any eye drops or anything like an antibiotic or something like that, you know, I can use? And she was like, yeah, sure, here, take this. And I was like, sweet. And we were actually out running around all that day, put the eye drops in, burned a little bit at first.
A good antibiotic eye drop will burn.
Should
But-
not laugh.
But after probably
You should.
like an hour,
It's gonna get better.
it felt 100 times better.
Oh, wow.
Like
Perfect.
the discomfort was gone. It was awesome. So I was like, sweet. I was like, I might not even need to go see Dr. Olive next week. I use them the next day. Feels even better. Still red. And when I put them in, it still hurts a little bit. But overall, it
Getting
feels
better.
like it feels like it's getting a
Positive.
lot better.
It's a positive.
Okay, we're
So-
trending in the right direction.
Yeah. Then Sunday, it's still red, even though it feels great. And it's not nasty at night anymore. So I was like, I still don't know about how red it is. Like, I'll just go to Dr. Olive, and I need to get a new optometrist
Yeah.
anymore because I'm living on a different side of town. So might as well go see Dr. Olive. It's somebody we know and trust. So I call him up, and I was like, yeah, want to make an appointment for Monday. Sam set it up. And the doctor's like, okay, what's going on? And I ran through the whole story, told him I got some eye drops. I started using them. They're like, okay, what'd you get? And I was like, shit. And looked at the bottle. I was like, it's called Ciprodex. She was like, what's it called? And I was like, Ciprodex. She's like, can you spell that? I was like, yeah, sure.
C?
Ciprodex. She's like, okay. Yeah, you're good to go. We have your appointment. So I go in, see the doctor. I go back, and the nurse or the assistant or whatever it is who checks you in and
Yeah.
puts all your information into the computer, runs through the whole thing. She's like, what are you using? I was like, oh, I got these eye drops from my sister. She's like, what are they? I was like, it's called Ciprodex. She's like, what's it called?
This
What
is
he
not a
knows.
good sign.
At the
Yeah.
optometrist, they don't know what this generic
I-
steroid is.
I was not thinking about it at the time, but hindsight, obviously I was. She's like, can you spell that? I I was like, yeah, sure.
So this is
See,
two
I-
doctors now who have
Two
been.
Yeah.
medical professionals.
Okay,
have
'cause
asked how
this
to
is-
spell Cypridex.
I'd be concerned the first time, but continue.
Right.
So then Dr. Olive comes in after the nurse leaves, and
Oh,
she
fuck.
takes a look at the eyes, and
Oh God.
she puts the dye in my eyes so she could take a bigger look. And she was like, yeah, it looks like you have a blood vessel. It's a little angry on this side. Let me look at
Angry.
the other side. Other one's kind of big too. Doesn't look that bad. She's like, though, you should probably stop putting those eardrops in your eyes.
Oh,
Right.
No. Yeah, how is that? Is that the stuff for swimmers here?
Apparently.
That
Yeah.
explains the patch he's wearing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was at
Irony?
that point that I decided to look on that handheld device that everybody
the
carries
Google?
around that
Yeah, the
answers
Google.
all the questions in
Why
your
would
life.
you have not done this immediately?
Because he trusts Megan and loves Megan, and Megan's like, yeah. Drop
But this
steroids,
eye
great.
can hear like a motherfucker right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I felt like the biggest dumbass.
Meanwhile, he texts Megan and I while he's at said doctor, and he's like, just pro tip, those are for ears. And we're like, let's next time just
Yeah.
go right to the medical professional and
Lu-
not Dr. Megan. That would be
Luckily,
be wise.
Dr. Olive was like, actually, the antibiotics and the steroid that's in them
Kinda
probably
the
helped a
same,
little
yeah.
bit.
Okay,
But
nice.
Overall, it irritates the eye a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So you probably should stop taking those. And
At
I'll
least
give you
you-
some drops for the eye.
Eyes are not combined with ear, nose, and throat. They are a separate
Yeah, that's
Very
true.
true.
entity.
Yeah.
So you can drink that eardrop, is what you're saying.
That's right.
I've been putting these suppositories in my eye all weekend, and it's just not getting any
Yeah.
better, Doc.
You were really close with the enema there, Troy. Yeah, so now I got the real eye drops, and it's feeling much better.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's not red anymore. It's good.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, these drops are from 2004.
Right.
No,
No,
that
it
would have
said-
been fine.
It said Otic, OTIC, I think, on the thing.
Oh,
And I was thinking optic. I was like,
Yeah.
optic. No, apparently that means
No.
the ear.
yeah.
Ear. Anywho, Brendan clearly has something to tell us.
I've got something here,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping you guys can teach me.
That looks like a handwritten letter.
How nice is that handwriting?
Are you kidding me?
Not in my handwriting. That's real handwriting?
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
I-
ridiculous.
I know it's
Not-
real.
That's not printed.
No,
that is
no.
ridiculous.
Look, it's the same handwriting on this postcard from 6 months
Boo
ago.
Boo is thinking of you. Okay.
Uh-oh. Sam doesn't know BooBoo.
Sam doesn't know anything about BooBoo. Her mind's gonna.
I'm setting
Be
you up here because
blown.
I have no idea what Boo Boo is.
I've received a letter.
But Boo Boo is thinking of you on
Is
a
it from
postcard.
St. Nick?
I have received a letter
Even
from
better.
BooBoo Mysterio. Is it? Look, you see Joe the chef in the corner.
Yeah.
His eyes lit up. He's like,
He knows.
he's like, Zoinks, BooBoo. What is this?
I love that
Have you
say
ruled
Zoinks.
him out?
Hey, BooBoo.
Have you
That's
ruled?
not his handwriting. I can vouch for that.
Chefs don't write like
give
that.
give Sam the 60-second run back, and any new listeners we
Okay,
have.
so years ago, a 6-pack arrived on my doorstep. It was sent in from California or Washington. I can't recall
It was
which
West Coast.
which was the
Okay.
first one. And it was just sent without a whole lot of fanfare, 6-pack for us to try. And there was no name. And it came, I did a little research on the address, and it came from a RV park. Not the kind of RV park people live in, but the
Yeah.
kind that they go to on vacation.
Like Papa.
And it arrived, which I question.
We
He's actually
question
on my-
also.
no,
He's on the list.
He is on my list, but the photo has made me question. But yes, he's on my list. I've got a list of suspects.
Okay.
So this thing showed up, and I bring it up on the podcast like, this is strange. There was nobody took credit for delivering this, but said, I'd like you to try this. No name. Then another 6-pack came months later from a different location.
Are these 6-packs from local places or from
Originally,
national places?
Originally, they were kind of local.
Okay.
Then they started becoming a little more diverse. And I question if the beers are actually clues, but the first one was from that location.
I love how much thought you've put into this.
Oh, you don't.
You don't even. But this is years ago.
Right.
I'm like a beautiful mind without all the beautiful.
Okay.
I'm
A
like,
mind.
It's a deep mystery.
so then the second 6-pack full shows up months later from another RV park, another local beer. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, what is this? And I'm a little intrigued. So eventually, after this is happening over and over and there's no name, we start calling him out on the air. Like, who is this person? And I say, I don't believe that you're real. I think you're just playing with me. I don't think you're actually in these RV parks. A photo shows up. It's a pair of nectars.
We named him BooBoo Mysterio.
Yeah,
BooBoo
but we haven't named him at this point.
Yeah.
So he sends a photo. I said, I want photo proof that you're really at these places. A pair of nectar sunglasses sitting next to a 6-pack of Pilsner Irakel with the fifth wheel in the background.
Huh.
And I'm like, okay.
Like a nice picture, too.
So now I'm like, okay, so all we know about this guy is he likes to go around to campsites and do his thing, and he's quite mysterious.
Right.
BooBoo Mysterio. BooBoo being Yogi's sidekick.
Yep.
So,
hey, BooBoo.
Hey, BooBoo. So we call him BooBoo Mysterio. So then all of a sudden the persona starts to grow, right? Now he's got a name. So then he sends the next one, and it shows a fifth wheel with what I'm going to guess are the mountains of Utah stretching in the background with a long ass, and another 6-pack shows up.
It's like the road off of Forrest Gump when he stops running. It's just
so
a long
good.
straight road and some mountains in the back.
Okay.
And if you look at the two photos, the fifth wheel is actually the same color scheme, potentially the same brand. Now, it's always difficult to make out because it's never the focus of the photo. That particular photo let me know that he has Photoshop skills because the license plate was from Hawaii and said ITPH.
Interesting.
He is leading you astray.
So now he's playing with me, right?
Right.
And I can't figure this guy out. So then we get a 6-pack with a letter. A letter. And now is when the clues start. We start getting these letters. And the first letter, my wife, in all her wisdom, because she's a cleaner, she threw out the box with the letter in it. So the contents of said clue-filled letter are gone. Like a fart in the wind.
But there might not be clues.
There might be. Why do you capitalize royal? Wrong story. Don't get me go.
We can go all night. It's fine.
Oh, dude, I was over here Sunday watching football, and he was in and out of the house looking for all the previous stuff, on his phone, Googling him and Han. I'm over here talking to Nick and Thornsvard, and he's over here in his own world, just I got to figure this out. Who is this guy?
I'm of the belief that the August 10th, 2019 episode, because I went back and listened to all the freaking episodes until I found when I discussed BooBoo.
Oh, that's a lot of time.
And this show's hilarious. I don't mind.
Of course.
So I go back.
# funniest podcast ever.
That's right.
So I found, it might have been 2018. I know it was August 10th. And so I actually have written down upstairs, it's horrible. This episode discussed. This episode discussed. So I can plot in
Brendan's
times.
office has photos with with ropes.
The little string going back and forth.
Going from that.
Amazing.
I can't figure them out.
He has 37 pictures of mountains on his wall, and he's
that's
fairly
the Rockies.
certain
That's
it's this
Appalachia.
mountain.
This is the.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to find, the Forest Fen treasure. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But so he sends another 6-pack, but this one he hand delivers to the house.
Ew.
After the letter. So
Risky.
Well, he already had my address. It's that much is done.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. You're like, ooh, he was here.
Well, if he's in Hawaii or the Rockies, how was he handling?
He's a jet setter.
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you bypass the one where he...
So the letter mentioned something about being in the ICU. And so we felt bad because we hadn't heard from him in a long time.
The previous one talked about you need to pay attention to who holds the door open for you at
Men's Warehouse. Which leads me to believe that I don't know who he is because I would have recognized somebody had they held the door for me at Men's Warehouse. I literally went to Men's Warehouse.
Oh, my God.
And I got the manager, and I was like, you got to do me a solid, buddy. And I'm talking to the guy, and I was like, you got a regular customer comes in here. And I was like, hey, when did I last come in here and pick up that sports coat? And he looks back, and he's like, on this day. And I was like, now this is going to be a random question, but anybody around that time, do you know anyone who ended up in the ICU who might have gotten sick? And he's like, nah, I don't have anything for you, man. I'm like, it was worth a shot. Shot in the dark, kind of thing. I'm trying to figure these out. Now, this is the letter that is gone. I have gone so far as to contact Marco Polo to try to get the Marco Polos released from August of 2019. So
wow.
Because I have a feeling I read the letter to you fuckers.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind. Then I got this one. There's a postcard. BooBoo thinking of you from the Francis Marion Hotel on King Street
This is recent.
in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, we're going there tomorrow.
Yeah. Do me a favor.
Weird.
Look around the Francis Marion
Yeah.
Hotel.
Ask about BooBoo. See what you can find out.
You want me to take this postcard with us?
Absolutely not. Don't touch
Okay.
that.
Does the
No
ring
problem.
of wine or beer?
Oh,
does
that's
that
my
mean
that's my
something?
problem.
Okay.
That's his alcoholism, not BooBoo.
So we get a card in the mail. It was in an envelope that was inside of another envelope that was shipped from a UPS store here in Richmond.
Okay.
But it looks like it had been shipped there or sent to somebody else to then be dropped off there and then shipped, if I had to guess. Because here's the letter, and I'm going to start reading them on the air because I need the detectives out there
Yeah.
to start to help me piece together what I am missing. Because I'm the guy who goes into those escape rooms and never gets
Yes.
out.
No.
Because you focus in on something.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah, he was going over and over this letter, and he kept saying this. I was like, first off, you're assuming everything in the letter is true. Like, he could be making all of this up. And he's like, oh, yeah.
Oh.
So
Dude,
here's
Here's
the
the
letter.
letter. Let's hear the letter.
Why the hell didn't you have your dad record himself reading this letter for us? Because that would have
been so much
Yes.
better. Oh.
Do you want me to read it?
We do need your
No,
dad.
because every time I read it, it puts more in my head.
Well, that's why I was offering, because you might click on something because you're not focused on the reading, and I'm reading it for you.
I'll listen back.
Okay. I'm sure you will.
I'm in a state.
That's fine.
All right. ITPA, which could be referred to as ITPH, but I don't know if it's a clue.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm
Troy,
not sure.
I see where we are with this
Yes,
now.
it's-
Okay.
I'm not sure.
He has a sickness.
All right, ITPA.
Okay. It's like Clemson Ipte. It's
Yes.
fine.
It has been too long. I have had to hold off with contacting you because you all were getting too close to uncovering the true identity of BooBoo Mysterio.
Clue 1.
Yeah, right. Worst detective podcast in Richmond.
For the world.
The real reason it has taken me so long is that I have been royally busy in 2020, and I rarely get free time, even though I'm mostly on my own. Royally is capitalized.
Who says royally busy?
That's clearly
And
Royally is
capitalized.
capitalized. The St. Marion Hotel is on King Street. Could it be a coincidence? I don't know.
Royal and King might intersect.
Yeah.
We'll investigate when we're there.
That's what I'm saying. Could you check it out?
I could.
Royal and King, please. Thank you.
Check.
Freaking out. There's got to be a solution in here. Okay. I did recently catch up on all of the episodes, and I'm glad I did. Listening to you guys is a great way to escape the craziness of 2020. Plus, after a few years, I feel like Stu has finally contributed a few one-liners.
I
He's
like
funny.
this guy already.
He's
But,
funny.
He is a listener.
Maybe one
Right,
day.
Stu? Stu? You know,
Stu's not present.
throw it to Stu.
There we go.
Fine.
Maybe one day I will contribute a little myself. I can make a drive down. Think it's a clue. Or up. Depends on if Brendan is giving directions.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's what Brendan always does.
And see you guys in person.
Gotta go up to Florida
Now,
later.
here, I currently don't reside in Richmond, but I do give local. Could he be a donator?
Yeah.
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 I think
course.
that's
I
a
think they're
pretty
called
safe assumption.
donors.
Teachmebabe.com.
but donators if you want.
But is he doing other things? I don't know. When I do visit, even if you see me, I'll keep my anonymity. Now, that gives me pause. He's going to not. Like, even if I
Yeah.
call him out, he's not going to admit it.
If
And
it was
it's-
Troy, he could be sitting there and not
I know.
admitting it.
And it's a win you see me.
In fact, to save some money, I am on a budget, I might again hand deliver the next deli. It'll be the second time I'm in Richmond this year.
Okay.
Clues.
Again, he's taking this as fact. Like, this guy could live down the street. Like,
That's the
you don't
problem.
know.
I am reading into everything as a fact, and I don't know that it's
I think
true.
it sounds factual, though. I
Well,
don't think
instead
he's
of
trying
putting
to
you-
trick you.
Well, instead of putting you to sleep with this long letter, I will leave you with this. I appreciate the thoughtfulness and concern when I told you I was in the ICU. However, I never said I was a patient. Cheers, Mysterio. Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
Never said I was a patient.
Yeah, he had said earlier in
But
the
it's a
previous letter
doctor.
he'd been in the ICU a lot.
He sent me another photo.
A picture
He
of
sent
himself.
He sent us a photo of
Oh.
himself.
This is so fun. Wait, what?
How many doctors or nurses donated to?
Check that
Oh,
picture.
damn it. Really?
Chris, describe this picture.
Okay, so there is a gentleman sitting in a chair, which
like a
appears
cyborg.
to be some sort of doctor's chair.
High-end
or
chair. High-end
Yeah,
chair.
it's a high-end
high-end
office
cha-
chair.
High-end office chair, okay. He's wearing a hoodie. He has gloves on.
So you
Nectar
no
sunglasses.
skin color.
Nectar sunglasses, ITPH. Use the coupon code.
That's right.
What's
He
the?
has-
Can you
what's
read his hat?
A hat.
Is it Sean?
It's a Yeti hat.
You're damn right, it's a Yeti hat. You're damn right, it's a Yeti
And
hat.
he appears to have a face covering, so you have no distinction of his race.
You can't tell
or
anything about this
gender.
dude.
I mean,
No.
clearly
No,
it's a
clearly
guy.
a dude.
This is
He's
the
got
first
some
time we've
muscles.
decided, because I asked the gardener next door, because one day when he dropped off the stuff, I said, hey, did you happen to see somebody drop by? And they were like, oh, you know what? There was potentially a black SUV stopped by our house. And I said, oh, did you get a look at the driver? Literally, she said to me, yeah, it was a woman, or it could have been a guy. Thank you so much.
Really?
Gardener help.
Way to narrow that down
It's
for
a
us.
woman or a guy.
Or a dude. Don't know.
So
Hence
Sam
everyone.
threw out Sean from Nectar, which I think is a easy guess.
Too built.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
This dude's too strong.
Yeah.
You've got to remember, I have not met Sean in
Oh,
person.
he's very
Sean's a
skinny and
skinny
weak.
guy.
Yeah,
This is
Like
wrong.
he
Skinny and
could not lift
he's
5
lanky.
pounds.
He's lanky.
Okay.
He's
This-
very lanky.
Let me.
This guy's built.
For the ladies that might listen, this guy is stacked up. He's got big arms,
Big
Yeah.
arms.
He's not that big.
babe.
Teach me, baby.
I can take my shirt off.
No, I'm not. Gonna,
I'm not saying he's not.
He's not yoked,
I'm
he's-
just
but he's in
saying-
good
But
shape.
he's
I'm-
in shape for
yeah,
sure.
There's
And he's
no.
got.
It's not like just a. It's not a scrawny arm. It's a legit arm. And
He's
there
got
is
big-
a Yeti hat. Who wears a Yeti hat?
Well,
Dude,
he's
anybody
mocking
who
Brendan.
knows,
Right.
no,
Yeti
he's not
bucket,
mocking me.
Yeah, Yeti.
Arctic Trail.
He's
blah, blah, blah.
aligning with me. It's different.
Yeah, mocking. That's what I said.
Shut up.
And the background is all just like a
White wall.
whitish gray.
Yeah, just like he's like not giving you any clues. He's just like,
I don't know that that's a fancy office chair. I would investigate that chair.
Initially, I was thinking like doctor or dentist, but I think
No,
Troy might
dentist
be right.
chairs.
But
have
that's a
the
high-end
the
chair,
full
right?
back.
Like
it's
that-
something
that
specialized.
chair costs money. I know that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
got the
has its own
headrest,
separate
and
headrest.
it's the mesh.
So we
chair.
have a buddy.
You have no idea who would look like that in
I do.
body build.
Oh, I've
You
got
do.
a
Of
couple.
course you do.
I got a couple. I'm so there's a
But we're not talking about them on air.
there's a gentleman that I don't want to say his full name, but his name is Joe, and he had a campsite
Joe, the Joes.
that
The Joe.
lives out in the Front Royal area.
Yeah.
Children.
Royally.
Royal.
Well, I think you've got it then.
Front Royal, and he's
no,
built.
I do not think that's that Joe.
I'm running out of clues.
When was the last time you saw that Joe?
We have
don't
one
know.
other buddy who lives in
Yeah,
Front
sure.
Royal who I had another friend ask him to send a picture of his office chair.
That's not an office chair.
and
if it's the guy I'm thinking of, I don't even know his first name.
No, that's not an office chair. That's the thing.
Drew?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
Different.
Yeah, so we hit up Drew and we were like, "Hey, let's see what your office chair looks like." And it's got that same extension on the top, but
No.
it's
Yeah.
not wooden. It's all
Right.
black, and I was like, "Oh, it's so close."
Yeah, that chair is a clue for you, and I don't think it's an office chair.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
It's an angle I have to
Brendan is like
investigate.
losing years of his life right now trying to figure this out.
I'm getting
BooBoo,
sucked in,
I
so you
love
might
it.
have a co-detective.
So
BooBoo,
once I
love
get
it.
this,
I don't want to find him out. I love this shit. Like I
Yeah.
just want this to keep coming. Like
no, I do
this
not.
is awesome.
This needs to end.
I
I
have
need to
a-
find
End
him.
it.
I need to.
BooBoo, go. Go BooBoo, go.
No, I need to find him.
I feel like I have a good idea of who it is, but I'm not even going to say it.
Oh,
just 'cause I
really?
want to see what happens.
Can you tell me off air?
Nope.
Oh, he's such a secret keeper. He won't
down
tell
to,
me anything.
Down to my third favorite podcast.
third favorite hey, I'm still here. I'm helping you.
Yeah, well, your lesser half is
My
really dragging
cohort.
you down.
Mine's dragging me
super
down.
obvious and easy, and I'm
Stupid.
sure you've already ruled it out for a number of reasons.
Ben.
No.
Ben Reese?
Well, I wasn't gonna see you are the.
I'm the
you're
worst.
good at
Sorry,
this.
Ben.
worst.
But he's kind of built like that. He would wear
No,
Yeti.
he's not.
He would,
I've seen him on
he would wear
Instagram.
Yeti gear.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's not bad. Yes. No. Typically, Sam held herself back there. She would have been like, Ben Reese, who lives at 7024 Acorn Street?
Blood type A positive, 6'2",
Sorry, Ben.
green eyes, brown hair.
Married to Edward with 2 kids
Yeah.
they adopted?
Yeah, exactly. No, so I'm like, I can't figure this out. But now everybody out there has the same clue. I am no longer going to rely on myself
Should
to
we
keep
post
track
the
of the
picture?
letters. You can post
On
the picture
Facebook?
all you
The
want.
cover of this podcast could be the letter.
That picture literally tells us
I should have
nothing.
been talking like this the whole time.
Well, I cranked your
You're
stuff
new to
up. You're
podcasting.
good.
It's okay. We got you
I'm
covered.
new. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot from that picture. Literally nothing on the
No.
walls. It's a brilliant picture.
Yeah.
It's well done. Hey, we'll take a picture of it over the letter. We will use it as
Yeah,
the,
there's some clues. There's clues in the letter.
How fun is it that you have a special secret admirer? I hope we get a secret admirer one day.
It's fun, and sometimes I worry about getting stabbed in the middle.
No. It's not dangerous.
I love it.
No, I look. I think this guy gets it. Like he's funny, and he makes little jokes in there. Like everything about it. I got to figure it out. Oh, I know who you're thinking it is.
Yeah.
I know who you're thinking it is.
Who?
Double J.
He made their intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I thought it was Double J
there's
too.
a number of reasons to rule that out with the traveling and the RV.
No.
and-
But I started running back how many times he's been to Richmond,
Yep.
and I'm like, ooh, that's about right. And then he does come in town every so often.
And
It
he
would
was
not-
in the ICU not too long
He
ago.
was in the ICU. No. But then he said he wasn't a patient.
No, he didn't
Again,
say. Did
yes.
he say he wasn't a patient, or did he
Not
say I didn't say
necessarily
I
a
was a patient?
patient.
No, he said he wasn't a patient. But I also went back through.
again. You don't. These aren't necessarily known truths. Like it,
No, I feel like they are.
No.
You think so? That you
Yeah,
think everything
I-
on Leather's
Yeah,
the
the
truth?
tone is very
you know why I think it's Double J. Another reason. His kid had some medical issues. We'll just leave it at that. And so
Oh, like he
Okay.
wasn't the patient. I see what
yes.
you did there.
And there's a line in there. And this is why I think it's Double J. Right here. I feel like Stu finally contributed a few one-liners. Maybe one day I'll contribute a little myself. There's only two people who have contributed as much as the Abacus and Double J are by far the two most people not on the podcast on the regular who have contributed more than anyone else to our overall.
Well, Double J
podcast.
was basically on the pod. I mean, he was
he's a
on the
regular.
podcast. Like he was around all the time.
No, so I think and the build
And
he's been working out a ton. That's exactly how he looks right now.
And to give you a little additional information, as we were conversating back and forth about our intro music, which he provided for us.
Please give me. This is why I said I want you guys to teach me.
He dropped.
Teaching.
He dropped another Stu joke on me,
He loves Stu jokes.
which was not brought up by me, even though I also love to make fun of Stu.
And there's a little animosity there because Stu kind of became the third mic, which was or the fourth mic, which was his role.
Oh, clearly.
Yep,
So I think it could be Double J.
I do.
I
do
don't
too.
think. I don't think that. I do not think that.
Troy's going to keep it alive.
Well, the problem is he's not going to bring it up either way. The difference is though that Double J is not one to travel around in fifth wheels and go like touring the world.
No.
So if you go back
he
to
has
the
a family.
if you go back to the beginning of the BooBoo Mysterio mystery, he was not part of that, but his father-in-law is kind of a badass,
Yeah.
and like he boats and RVs, and I think it's certainly possible that he could have twisted that.
Yeah, that's
somehow.
true.
What's up, Ely?
Chilling, man.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Illy's here.
No chance Double J is BooBoo.
Look at the photo. Oh, you've seen the photo. We've been through this, right?
Have we talked about the fact that the person has boobs? I first thought it was a chick until I saw the arms, because the
That's
arms
what
are
I
solid.
said.
Yes.
I don't
Arms
see
are
boobs.
so strong.
You don't see.
I said, how do you know it's
What
not
are
a
you
girl?
talking
And then I
about?
Dude's
looked at
got-
the arm
Get
and
rid
I
of the
said,
arm. You got to get rid of the arm. But
Dude's got
initially,
dope pecs.
that shit looks like boobs at first until you see the arm.
No way.
Till the
For
arm.
sure.
That's exactly
You
why I
sti-
thought
when
it
you
was
originally
a
did the Marco
lady.
Polo, I was with Angela. She's like, that chick's got boobs.
Yeah, she does.
Well, I don't find myself
Two.
attracted to this
Why would you think Double J has arms like that?
because he's been working out a ton since he's been living there. He's got a whole setup in his house. He's working out all the time. He's always telling me about how he's been down on the Smith rack and crazy shit. Like he's
Nice.
working out.
All
So
right.
Putting up stacks and racks.
stacks and racks, and it's the comment about contributing.
The only thing I do see is that he would be the guy to do something like that.
And that's why I hit him up this past weekend. I was just like, hey, what's the name of that winery you've been working at? And then he sent me the name and it had nothing to do with Royals. And I was like, I'm not talking to you anymore. I was so furious. But If King and Royal, if on the corner of King and Royal when you're in Charleston, can you guys seek that out and see?
Sure.
Because do King and Royal intersect?
I think they might.
When was Double
check
J in
it.
Charleston? Charleston is a long way from where he lives.
But South Carolina. It could be an overall reference to South Carolina.
Yeah, it could have been a couple's getaway.
Maybe.
I'm grasping at straws.
Yeah, you are.
Like,
And good at geography.
did you see in the letter where
In
he clowned me
general,
about that?
I did.
Yeah, it's. But he also has the kind of handwriting. You know what I'm saying?
He
Like
does
he's
have
an
nice
he's an
handwriting,
artist.
Yeah.
He could write like
yeah,
this.
True.
Like he is
Very
very
artistic.
Really
Maybe he put
pretty.
a
It
gun
looks
to
like it's
someone's head
printed.
and said, "Write this letter."
No. Now we're
Oh.
going in
Okay.
Virginia.
Or his wife.
Deep
Could,
end.
his wife could have
All
written
right,
it.
fine. I
She's
watch too many
artistic.
shows on Netflix. Clearly. So I joke all the time about wanting Yosemite Sam backup mud flaps. I just passed a dude that had them on a truck.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Back
made
off.
My evening. Yeah.
Back off.
With the
That's
double
right.
guns.
Those are the
That's kind
best.
of cool.
Yeah, so I'm all in on this BooBoo situation. I can't quite piece it together. I'll figure it out.
No. I want to backtrack just for a second.
We're about to
I'm
close up,
super
but I would,
late.
Hey, let's start over for Ely.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Are
want
you-
to start
no, are you
over.
gonna
I just
talk
want to
about-
get into your show. I
talking about-
absolutely love it.
teach
Sweet.
me, babe. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we were saying.
Listened.
I
Oh
like
my God! Yeah,
Ely?
listen.
I like
Thanks,
having
man.
the couple view. And
Well, I love learning more about them. For one, that was the coolest thing ever. I like that a lot. And then I just love the format. I think it's a great idea.
yeah,
Awesome.
Okay.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Maybe you guys can come on one time.
Sure. Just once.
Super.
We're not
or
gonna-
whenever.
we're not going to come
He's
on.
very punctual, so make sure you plan for it.
We'll
Exactly.
plan.
Yeah.
We'll plan
You gotta
ahead.
give me Eastern Ely time,
Yeah.
like an hour early.
Why are you here on Thursday? We
right.
we recorded on
Oh.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Got
We'll
it.
be in bed and the doorbell starts ringing.
Yeah. You know what's
Okay.
funny though?
The E's are
Legitimately,
here.
I was painting the baseboard an hour ago, and I was like, "Shit, there's podcasts tonight." Yeah. I was going to get dinner and the whole nine. I was like, "Damn it!"
Babe, you want to watch a movie?
Right, for sure.
Oh, I'm supposed to be over there.
Yeah.
Shoot.
All
Thanks.
It
good.
happens.
All good.
That's all right. You made it in time for the good
I
episode.
know, exactly. That's right.
Yeah, the drink challenge is about to begin. We got Joe the chef over there sitting on the couch just waiting.
Did you bring 7-Eleven eggnog? Because apparently that wins.
It does. Food line.
Yeah, we rehashed.
I heard.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you already talked about the show and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for the
I love
first
it.
little bit, it's
I'm
that's
into
what I was
it,
saying.
what I've heard.
It's a good show. I like the chemistry. I like the dynamic of the girl guy thing.
Yeah, and you sound like
it
you've been
works out.
podcasting for a long time.
That's because I
think both
teach
of-
them how to produce.
He did. And I think
Yeah.
both of us are just like really super confident with microphones.
We
because
trained them up.
We want people to listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week we have
Zero merit.
Zuckerberg versus Jesus.
Really?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so in.
Hold on, that's really the topic that's going to
It's
come
going to
out.
be
That's
coming
the
out
title
tomorrow.
of episode 6.
Can we
Zuckerberg.
tell us what you're going to teach us about?
We're
No.
going to dive into. Well, you can figure it out.
Zuckerberg.
Is it
Everybody
social media?
knows who
Are you gonna
he
talk about
is.
social
Yeah.
media?
The-
Not
he's the alien that drinks
specifically.
water
That's
like
a
he's
big
from another
topic.
planet.
It
We
is.
didn't go in. We dabbed into it, but
Are you
that's
going to get
not
into
the
how
topic.
he drinks water? Because can we talk about that?
Dude, he drinks
He's like a fucking
Zuckerberg?
alien.
Oh.
he does, the way he drinks water is
It's super
creepy.
crazy. Like
What
he's
do
a
you
robot.
mean?
Oh,
Like-
just do yourself a favor and look that shit up.
Ew. I will.
You need to. When he's in front of Congress sipping water like
he
a
nips
robot,
It. He nips
Gross.
it. Very
Yeah.
odd.
He's
way.
a weird cat.
for sure.
But no, it has
He
nothing. I
is
mean,
wealthy.
we tap into that
He's
social
listening
media.
right now.
That's fine if he is.
Careful.
He
I
can
mean,
pull
I'm a
me in.
big Zuckerberg guy.
Huge.
I'm not. And then Jesus. Well, but I don't want to give it away.
No, that's a
Car-
good
the
tease. That's a
carpenter?
good tease.
Yeah. They're not on the same plane. Let's be
Not the
clear.
carpenter, the savior.
Gotcha.
Savior of the world. Mhm.
Not Jesus.
Potato.
We're not talking about Sinterklaas.
Yeah.
Oh, center.
Sinterklaas.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so babes, what'd you learn today?
So many things. I'm like an overload. Well, first of all, I learned that Santa Claus came from Turkey. Thought it was Scandinavia.
There you
Also
go.
about the BooBoo. I didn't know anything about BooBoo.
Okay, so you learned some things. Chris, what'd you learn today?
Yeah, I learned eardrops are best used for the ear and not the eye. And I learned that the hard way.
We'll explain that to Ely in a minute.
I'll get it.
I love it. For those that don't know, they end the show with recapping what was learned.
And I learned about the Teach Me Babe. So that was
Great.
cool.
But you're the one who knows more than anyone else about the Teach Me Babe.
He's
No,
listened
but
to
the
all 5
Teach Me
episodes.
Babe.
Oh,
Uh,
the.
yeah.
The.
Yeah.
The.
Well done. Well done. I learned that Anchor Steam's newest holiday beer is trash.
I wouldn't say trash.
No, but it was not.
It's average.
I drink it all, but it's not good.
Yeah.
That's
That's
true.
not
I did
saying
drink it
much.
all. I did.
It's not. It's not at all. I
Yeah.
pretty much drink anything you put right
She
here.
was asking for a funnel too.
Damn it, Ely.
I
Where
did
the hell
good at
were you?
Radford.
I know, right?
We've had more laughs in 5 minutes than we had in an hour and 30.
Yeah, it's the Radford folks. That's what we do. Did you see they were
Something.
demolishing the Clement Street buildings?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
We'll save it for the next one. Hey, thank you guys so much for coming on. Really do appreciate it. I'm excited for the podcast. If anyone hasn't checked it out, Teach Me Babe on iTunes and Spotify.
Check it out.
It's absolutely worth checking out, and it's gonna be fun to watch you guys grow. It
Thanks,
really will.
Brendan.
And I can't wait to see when the first time you cross the line and
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
coming.
hear the audio like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Dead silence.
Instead of "I love you, babe," it's gonna be "Can I make a fucking point?"
Exactly.
We have to end this podcast now.
Why do you always
Gotta
cut
go.
me off?
Right.
No, it is a lot of fun. So I'm glad you guys are doing it. I hope you stick it out. Next week is 7.
7. Lucky 7.
Anything after that?
Do y'all publish on Friday? Is that what it is?
Friday,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Thanks for asking, Troy.
Good to know.
Yeah, this week we.
I'm a
have-
subscriber, so it's going to show up on my feed anyway.
I saw
Yeah, it
you rated them.
I
too,
rated.
which
I gave a review.
Ooh.
I do all. Hey, that's what I ask of our
Yeah, no, I
listeners,
saw that.
So therefore, I shall do it as
I
well.
saw it and I felt guilty and I was like, oh, I haven't rated, so I need to rate.
so
That's-
busy.
Yeah, exactly.
So busy
These
right now.
these fingers are exhausted. Can't get to it.
And the worst part is, I know for a fact that Chris is rated not just once, like he's actually helped out multiple
Oh yeah, he's
times.
Cincinnati
Oh.
Swap.
Oh, you can rate
He's-
more
he's
than
a-
once on
You
it.
guys-
Like,
Well,
He changes his name.
If you pretend to be
Oh.
BooBoo, you can.
right. BooBoo.
Yeah, one of your guys' ratings you didn't even know was me.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
Yeah.
There's one that you slid in under the radar?
Maybe Chris is BooBoo.
Oh,
No.
I haven't seen
He's
them both
not.
in the same
He's
place
not.
at the same time.
I've never seen Boo Boo and Chris in
Well,
the same
yeah,
room.
that's the
I
joke.
know. Well, I was trying to. Thanks, Troy.
You stepped on my joke.
I was trying to. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
But I can't argue.
Yeah, one of the ratings was talking about how awesome I was or something. I was like, this doesn't check out.
yeah, we appreciate you guys having us on and for helping us get set up, and we're having a lot of fun doing it, and it's because of what y'all have done here. So
I'm glad.
Thanks.
I hope you
Yeah.
guys.
We're trailblazers.
It really is.
I hope you guys stick it out because it's a lot of fun to listen to. So I'm encouraged by what I hear.
sweet.
Say
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. Sorry, I'm trying to produce this crowded room. There
I'm
we
looking
go.
forward to tomorrow. I'll listen to the newest episode tomorrow.
I want to know who wins in this heads-up battle between Zuck and Jesus Cristo.
I know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This gauntlet has
a
been
close
laid
one.
down.
I'm sure exactly. It's toss-up, really.
The question is, who has more power in this day and age?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not
Well,
sure
it's
these days.
not
Getting
even a
into
question.
I'm going to stick
I
with
don't
Jesus.
know. Yeah, me too.
Good
Just
call.
stick with Jesus. There haven't been any wars fought over Facebook yet. Give it time. Give it time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't had a chance to rate and review, please go over to iTunes and look up Teach Me Babe and give us a rating and a review. See, I hooked you guys up with a plug.
There we go.
You like that? Hey, what's
Appreciate
y'all's email address? I know you have an email address.
Chris and Sam at teachmebabe.com.
I love it. That's perfect. And if you want to send something to us, we can relay that to them. It's at insidethepallethouse@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be talking to you next week. Oh, wait. Oh, Troy's giving me the eyeball.
Somebody made a donation.
Oh, shout out.
J-Flo.
I just saw that literally before we went on the air. Thank you so much, Jason. We certainly appreciate it. We're going to put it directly into lie detector that we're going to put here, and every asshole that comes through the store, I'm going to ask them if they're BooBoo Mysterio.
Sweet.
Speaking of, he's well traveled.
Dude, could it be?
Could it be?
Interesting.
Let's leave that out there. We'll talk about it next week.
You would have not walked past him at a men's warehouse.
True. But again, it's everything he says is the truth.
It's all out there. I don't know the answers to this.
That's
I've been
right.
connecting dots. So far, it looks like a blob. I can't figure it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be talking to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm just glad Stu isn't here to say peace out.
And then he says peace out.
That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?